Popper fam? Welcome back to day 2 of the 5-day AI SaaS challenge. Crazy energy in the community right now. Absolutely popping off. I did not expect there to be this much engagement, this much hype around the community. Is popping off. We're going to dive into everything. Go ahead, and I see, we got some fans in the chat. I see you. Rocky in chat. What's up? Guys, go ahead and tune in and let me know where you're watching from right now. At this current point in time, 150 on YouTube, and we've got 500 in the viewing room. But that's going to climb. I reckon we're going to get to 3,000 today. 3,000 people are going to tune in right now. So welcome, guys, to the 5-day AI SaaS challenge, day 2. Without further ado, let's jump into it. We're going to dive into a demo. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. That's it. We've got Bulgaria in the house. I see you guys. What's up? Go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from right now. I want to dive straight into this. I don't want to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and kill this one. So let's go ahead and do it, right? Welcome to the 5-day AI SaaS challenge, day 2, right? Look at this. Oh, I love it. I'm already seeing the chat flying. We've got South Africa, Congo, Spain, Turkey, Norway, UK, Scotland, Syrian, I see you, Gambia in the house. That's what I'm talking. International. We've got the US, we've got Canada. That's what I'm saying, guys. Chicago in the house. Funny enough, I was talking about Chicago yesterday. West Midlands, India, South Africa, England. Yo, what's good, guys? Sarasota, Florida, Dubai. That's it. That's the energy, Mr. Worldwide. That's it, Jay. I see you, man. All right, guys, we're going to be building this today. So we've got the entire beginning of the chat PDF. We'll chat with PDF SaaS applications. We're going to go ahead and build a landing page. We're going to go ahead and implement Clerk Authentication so you can sign in. The functional, oh, wow, that's insane. We already got donations flying off. Welcome to the stream, guys. Peru, Tada, Uganda, Nigeria, Jamaica, LA. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Greece, Marius. I see you, dude. I see you. Let's go ahead and dive in right now. We've got literally now we've gone over 1,000 people watching right now. Absolutely crazy stuff. Honestly, it takes me a second to just soak this in. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. West London, massive. We got Mystic Echo. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into day 2 of the challenge. Without further ado, I don't want to waste no time. I see you guys. Secure your seats already if you haven't already. Papareact.com/challenge. Over 5,000 people. Over 5,000 people have signed into this challenge already. Signed up. It's getting mad. It's just getting crazy. This is nuts. Look at the list. If you're watching the replay of this right now, please turn on the live chat and just see for yourself. That's it. Like, look, that's real. That's hype right there. Ivory Coast, Sri Lanka, Ethiopia, Sarasota Springs, Pakistan, Democratic Republic of Congo. Oh, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Welcome to the challenge, everyone. Make sure you signed up if you haven't already. I want you to win as much as you possibly can. We're going to dive into today's agenda. Today, we're going to be, like I showed you, we're going to build the landing page, Clerk Authentication, and the middleware for Clerk to make sure that we're authenticating all of our requests. We're going to build a functional dashboard. So this, what you see right here, we're going to basically have the starter of this. We're going to implement upload functionality. So when you go ahead and click on the upload, you can drag and drop files into here. And then we're going to deploy the build to Vercel. And when I tell you, you guys smashed that homework. Like, it was nearly 3,000 submissions, which, let me just put it out there. We've had hundreds of submissions before. And I think we topped 1,000 one time. Guys, 3,000. Like, just under 3,000 submissions. Like, wild. I literally caught up with Jay this morning. I was like, no, you're kidding me. Absolutely crazy. Tomorrow, we're going to continue with the AI SaaS app. We're going to do a bunch of stuff on the screen that you see right here. A lot of the AI chat functionality is going to happen tomorrow. So absolutely going to be massive. Day 4, we're going to finish the AI SaaS app. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Stripe, the payment processing, all that good stuff. And yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be absolutely big, right? So I'm going to turn the music a little bit down so we can focus. Day 5, grand finale. All you have to do is show up. If you haven't already, please go to this right now. links.papareact.com/day5. Sign up. That's where I basically give you a full training. Everything's going to kick off over there. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm showing you how to build a SaaS app in these days right now. So if you're here right now, grab your coffee. It's going to be intense. I'm telling you right now. And then we're going to go ahead and give you your full training as to how you can leverage AI to become a successful developer and not get your job taken by someone who is leveraging AI. So all of that is covered in day 5 grand finale, and I'm going to give you the code to the entire SaaS just by showing up. Right, Marius, I love that. He goes, only 5,000? Papa Fam should definitely add a couple more zeros. I agree, bro. I 100% agree. It's absolutely huge. We've actually got just hitting 1,500 people now in the viewing room and YouTube. I told you, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Welcome to the challenge. All right, what can you win in this challenge? Just jump through a couple of prizes. First place winner, LG ultra wide monitor, the complete mentorship experience, and you're going to get swag packs from Clerk. So I'm going to dive through this fairly quickly, but you guys have seen it yesterday. Remember the LG 34-inch ultra wide, amazing screen for when you're coding along, all that good stuff. This is going to get given to you for free, right? If you win this challenge. We've got John Gill, Siren. I love you guys. Honestly, appreciate you so much. First place winner. It's not just my diamond mentorship. It's a one-on-one mentorship experience where I go ahead and give you a direct roadmap to your success. I do this a lot with my one-on-one students. So literally that is worth money, guys. So you're going to get that if you go ahead and win on that. That's honestly worth more than the entire, like, for what? It's crazy. It's nuts. Right, nuts. Right, and we got Clerk swag packs, right? The guys over at Clerk have hooked you up. Absolutely incredible stuff. You got to throw in a new desk for first place. You know what? Not a bad shout. I've got companies sending desks, so I might do that next time. Second place, Keychron K2 keyboard. If you know about this keyboard, drop it in the chat right now. Banger keyboard. All the devs love it. It does that little clickety clack when you go ahead and type in. And we got platinum membership and swag packs, right? So go ahead, check it out for yourself. Get hyped. This is big. A lot of stuff happening. Thank you, Marius, for tuning in. Second place, like I said, platinum, and we got the Clerk swag packs. Third place, we ain't forgotten about you. Don't worry. You got an awesome backpack from the guys over at Clerk. We've got another donation already. Thank you so much. 25. I see that S. Not sure. I have a feeling I know who that is, but anyway, what's that? Thank you so much. Koto Paxi combined with Clerk to give you this sick backpack. And we're going to go ahead and give you the Papa GitHub repo, which has got over 50 of my builds inside of for free. So you're winning, right? And we've got the Clerk swag packs as well, right? So tons of stuff to look forward to. But remember, just for being here, like I said, just you being here is awesome enough. And what we want to do is give you guys a participation goodie just for sticking around for every single day. So day one, like today, or day one of the build, right? When we actually start building, stick around today to get a JavaScript cheat sheet, right? So literally after this, we send you an email, boom, you've got a cheat sheet ready for you, right? It's going to have a ton of different JavaScript stuff inside of it. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So we've got that covered. Day tomorrow, you're going to get the Next.js cheat sheet. So a ton of stuff inside of there. Day 4, JavaScript cheat sheet, or the handbook, right? I get confused with the names, but honestly, they're awesome. We spent a lot of time doing these. And then day 5, our new freebie, the Tailwind CSS cheat sheet, right? So you guys can go ahead and get that. All you got to do is show up. And like I said, the complete AI SaaS app source code, I'm just giving it away because why not? Right, give it away for free. I want you guys to value for the most, get the most value from this. So I got the audio coming through for the donations. I appreciate you lot. Right, so you're gonna get all of this just for sticking around for day 5. Right, point system. How can you win your points? 1 point if you like and comment on every single YouTube video, and as in on every video like we post, and subscribe to the channel. I have some people, quite jokes, I ain't gonna lie. Some people going through my entire YouTube channel and liking and commenting everything, but I appreciate the love. 1 point for that. 2 points if you tag me. You guys went nuts yesterday, and I love that, right? All you need to do to go ahead and get these 2 points is tag me. So you guys blew up yesterday. Hey, we got another donation in the house. Yo, what's good, man? Thank you so much. Look at this, guys. Check it out. Look, everyone was tagging away, and I'll repost you. And this is easy 2 points, right? Easy stuff. You guys can see for yourself. Community is popping off. Absolutely incredible. And we got 3 points if you help someone with the homework. Now, this is probably the thing that shocked me the most. Now, I wanted to do this challenge mainly for one thing, to show you the power of a community. But this really surprised me. Like, you guys took it to a whole nother level. Like, here's some examples of where people were getting stuck and you guys were just coming in clutch, helping people. Guys, we also just topped over 2,000 viewers across the viewing rooms. I'm going to keep shouting this out. Absolutely crazy stuff, right? Chat box is popping off. Ganesh helping someone out here. We've got amazing members answering Junaid's question. So he had a bit of advice. He had a bit of a question about advice, not even related to the coding challenge. And everyone was jumping in, helping him out, right? Tarek and Steven, I see you guys. Bonus points being literally thrown all around. Dev Ben is asking a couple of questions about the challenge. You guys were jumping in. And it's just so nice to see this. Here's more examples of it on the screen. It's just huge. Like, honestly, seeing this, like when people are getting stuck, I remember when I was starting off as a developer, going ahead and helping out in all of this, going and help, and I just read something else. Right. So literally, this is what I was about when I was starting off. I was getting stuck and all sorts. So all I want to do is build this awesome community, and I'll show you guys myself on my screen. Guys, just look for yourself. Like everyone, like look at this. Check my portfolio website. Someone, oh, look at that. I just leveled up. Sick. Okay. It's about time. And then you guys can see here, look, everyone's just going ahead and helping each other out. The positivity is massive. Look, oh, what the hell? Look at this, guys. If I zoom into it, compiled with problems, yeah? That is so sick. That is actually incredible. That is what you call a community. Now tell me Stack Overflow does that. period. Stack Overflow, some little geeky dude is going to be sitting at his keyboard hating on you, right? In this case, boom, we got a community that's actually going to help you out. So all you got to do is sign up to the challenge, be a part of it. That's all it is, right? 4 points if you refer someone. I saw loads of you doing it. Emmanuel referring Eva. Faizan dropping a ton of referrals. Also, we know if you try and duplicate this, we get an email from literally the actual team over at school themselves. So don't do that, right? But literally 5 bonus points for every homework submission. So I'm going to go over some of the little highlights from yesterday before we jump into today's video. And also, guys, yeah, oh my goodness, Jay, what is happening, bro? Like 2,500 people, 200 on YouTube, and literally 2,000-ish, I think, where I hitting, well, the remainder to get there. I can just see a total number. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, guys. Look at the energy of the community. We're going to literally pop it off even more. I love Jay's OG. Just hit the like button for Jay's gifts right now. Absolutely joker for what he's done. We're going to jump into some of the bonus points. 10 points today if you implement Clerk using our link. So all you have to do, go.clerk.com/sunny. And you're wondering, I've already signed up. I don't need to go through the link. Guys, one, I can do this for free because you do stuff like this. So go to go.clerk.com/sunny, sign up through that. And you guys did an amazing job. Over literally tons of you signed up yesterday. And today, after we finish off what we're doing, you can go ahead and take the challenge a little bit further and actually upgrade the authentication that we're going to do today with something called Clerk Elements. So I'm going to leave that one there because I want that to be a challenge, right? So Clerk Elements, totally customizable authentication system, very easy to implement, but that's an immediate 10 bonus points. Anyone who pulls that off, I'm looking out for you lot, okay? And if your build gets featured tomorrow, I can't ask Jay, kill me, honestly. If our build gets featured tomorrow, you're gonna get another 10 bonus points. So let's go ahead. And like I said, you can post in the community as well, right? Sign up for day 5. I wanna show some highlights right now. But sign up for day 5 if you haven't already, links.popreact.com/day 5. And this is just some basic examples. I think you guys know this right now, how you can go ahead and post. This is something I want to mention again, because I think it's very helpful. If you get stuck at any point, head over to the classroom. And what you will see is this. Don't ignore this stuff. This is mine. You go to the 5-day full stack challenge and you'll go ahead and see all of this, right? In each of these sections, you've got your homework submission, the prize stuff that I'm talking about. Everything that you need is in these sections right here. So you can just go ahead and find it. Or we literally spent so much time getting this dialed in for you guys. And another thing I want to mention is you have the viewing room as well. So this is the viewing room for today. All the relevant links, what we're doing today, the video for today is going to be here as well. And you've got the homework submission for today's build, because we're going to deploy the SaaS app and you're going to go ahead and basically give that inside your homework. And remember, if you implement Clerk Elements as part of that bonus, simply tick this little green thing so it helps me see you quicker, right? Otherwise, it's very hard for me to figure out what the hell is going on. And if you haven't signed up for day 5, that link is there, right? You can go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so very, very simple. We made it easy for you guys to go ahead and do and submit your homework and everything. So yesterday's homework, set up your Clerk account, which you guys did an amazing job, by the way, and submit your deployed portfolio links. So let's go ahead and see some examples of the submissions, right? Firstly, 2,750 submissions, absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of every single one of you, because I really didn't expect so many of you to drop your own portfolios, which was actually incredible. We've never had that many custom portfolios, which I'm so proud that people are doing. So well done to you all for doing that, right? Our team's been scraping through these homeworks. It's absolutely nuts. So a couple of bonus points, right? Check this out. We've got Dev Ben. Sick stuff, dude. Honestly, really, really nice. You can go ahead and check all of these out right now. So go ahead and show some love by checking them out. And you guys can shout out in the chat which one you love. Dev Ben, amazing portfolio. Very clean, very slick. We've got Scott Martin. I see you. He's actually an awesome diamond member inside the community as well. But absolutely really nice, different portfolio. He's even got light and dark mode at the top right. I see you, man. Very good stuff. This one was really cool. Arhan Ansari. Had literally, I don't know if that's actually him, but if it's him, oh my God, you got youngsters in the community. It's absolutely awesome. But guys, check this out. This was a 3D portfolio. This one was sick. As you scroll down, the character moved around and stuff. Like, I was like, yo, this is so engaging. Like, so go ahead and check that one out if you want to play with that. We got Pedro Diaz, awesome portfolio. Caleb, we've got Aiden, Joshi. Again, look at these youngsters. I'm so proud of you guys. It's actually crazy. Oh my God. Like, look, he looks like he's in school, but good on you, dude. Absolutely props off to you. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep smashing it. I'm so proud. John Edibe, amazing stuff. Marcos Alvarez took the portfolio that we gave yesterday and customized the hell out of it. Amazing job. We got Digital Alchemist, Stephen Watkins, also a massive member in the community right now. I can see you going ahead and engaging with everyone, so keep it up. Delvin Shoko, you as well. I see you in the community, absolutely popping off. Really like this entrance right here. It's very, very cool. And we've got Faizan. Faizan, oh my God, this dude is popping off in the challenge. Right, guys? If you don't know about Faizan, I think everyone knows who Faizan is, and if you're a part of this challenge already, right? Literally 2,500 people, by the way, tuning in. I'm going to keep updating this. Absolutely nuts. I'm speechless. Like, it's crazy. I want to hit 3,000. I really want to hit 3,000 today. Now I've hit my goal, right? We got Hein. Honestly, amazing stuff. This was really clean in my opinion, by the way. So this one actually caught my eye because it's just very sleek and it shows me that you've got an eye for design. So super clean. We got Hashim and yeah, everyone who I just showed on the screen right now, boom, 10 bonus points to all of you lot. Angel Lopez says, hi fam, did he already drop the day 2 ebook reward? No, so day 2 ebook reward literally gets sent out to all of you after I basically finish up on this stream. So don't worry, don't stress, I'm sending out to everyone. As long as you're signed up to the challenge at www.papareact.com/challenge. Sign up to that, you'll get the ebook, okay? Make sure you do that. And like I said, for day 5, all you have to do, head over to this link, links.papareact.com/day5 and sign up, right? Before we start, pull out your phone, easy as, like we did yesterday, pull it out, tag me on your socials and go ahead and make some noise on that, right? And what I would say is don't put a song over it because sometimes there was some crazy songs going on. I couldn't repost because it was like too much swearing or something else going on. So I was like, try not to do that. Just post it without a song and then I can actually repost it because that's why I couldn't repost some of your stories. But yeah, honestly, the rest of you, absolutely awesome stuff, right? Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to jump into some coding now. So buckle up, right? Literally 2,750 people are in the live stream. Oh my God, absolutely mad. Right. In this case, don't worry, Digital Alchemist is all good. I like the song that you actually put on. But in this case, I bet my song had naughty words. I think it was you as well. Right. It's all right. It's all good. Right. Today, we're going to build the beautiful landing page. Get into it. Let's jump into the challenge. I want to go ahead and code. I've been excited for this day because this is literally what we've been building up to. So I'm going to give you a quick demo of what we're building. Like I said, the landing page. And I want you to pay attention to something. We have Clerk middleware. Now, what does that mean? It means essentially, let's say I log out right now, right? So I'm going to sign out of my account, go back to here. Now, if I try to go to the dashboard directly and bypass it, boom, it'll kick me out into a sign-in page, right? And that's actually exactly what we wanted. So we're going to block access to the dashboard and beyond by using Clerk middleware. So basically, we're going to essentially protect the route into the app, right? So we've got to make sure that you're authenticated, and then how you set up your authentication is going to be a breeze. We're going to do it right now. You can sign into your account and everything pops up just like so. So we're going to have Google sign in, and there's also bonus points. I didn't even mention that. There's bonus points for if you add in stuff like mobile phone login, all that kind of stuff. I want you guys to really elevate and step this stuff up, right? So in this case, we're going to go ahead and start the build. All right, screw it. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm excited for this, right? So you guys can see we're going to actually start off with this really beautiful responsive landing page to go ahead and get your customers in, right? 2,900, dude. Guys, just smash that like button on this YouTube video. It helps the video reach as many people as possible, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started by setting up Clerk. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first, we're actually going to need to do two things. We're going to need to set up a Next.js template app, which is basically our starting point. And then we're going to set up our Clerk, which we did yesterday, but we need to install it into our app. Okay, so I'm going to run it through everything. Give me feedback if you want me to speed up, slow down, whatnot. I'm here for you guys. Okay, so first things first, open up your terminal. Right, terminal, go ahead and get this up right now. And I want you to go into, I actually like to work in my documents, but in this case, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to build it here. I'm going to use this command right here. So npm I create, 1 minute. Sorry guys, I actually have not got it in here. I'm going to do it inside my documents folder. So documents, builds, I do it in here. You don't need to do this. It's all good. Right. Create next apps. Okay. So here we are. So what I want you to do is go ahead and type in the following: npx create next app at latest. And then we're going to do a space, and then you can basically put the app name in. Okay. So in this case, the app name is going to be, in our case, let's just go ahead and say chat with PDF challenge, right? And I'm going to go ahead and enter, and this will spin up a starter template for us, right? So it'll start asking us a couple of questions like, do you want to use TypeScript? Yes. I'm basically accepting all of the defaults right now. So yes, 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 yes. I'm going to lower the music a little bit as well. So we can go ahead and dial in. So you guys can see here, we're going to install all the dependencies, everything like this. If you don't actually get this working and it says npx is not recognized, all you have to do is install Node. Okay, so I'm going to try and break this down as much as possible for beginners. So literally Google Node, N-O-D-E, install it, and then you'll get npx, right? A lot of people are asking what browser I'm using. It's actually called Arc browser. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're actually a really cool browser. It's really, really nice. And we've been using it quite a lot inside the Papa Fam. So once you've done that, right, it will create the repository. In this case, it will chat with PDF challenge. So I'm going to do CD chat with PDF challenge. I've got loads of builds, as you can see. Okay, so chat with PDF challenge, and then I'm going to jump out, right? And once I've done this, I'm going to do code dot. And if this code dot command doesn't work for you, all I basically suggest you do is you go ahead and you open up VS Code manually, go to files, go ahead and open workspace from file and select the folder that we just set up, okay? Or you can click on add folder to workspace and you can do it that way. So, or you can press commando. There's tons of ways you can do it, okay? So that's the first way. Now, if you want to get that code, I'm developing my own browser. Oh, sick. Nice, dude. If you want to go ahead and get that code dot command, Command-Shift-P and type in shell, and you will see install code command in path. I use Code Insiders, that's why you're seeing this. Ignore that. If you got VS Code, the basic, like the normal edition, I use the beta version because I like trying out the new stuff. But you can go ahead and do install code command in path. Somebody says, is this code available in the paid Papa React repo? No, but I'm giving it away for free on day 5, okay? So obviously this is a challenge for a reason. I want you guys to actually participate in the challenge and everything like that, okay? Many warnings say, is that bad? It's okay, don't worry about it. All right, so let's jump into it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run our app. So very simple, we go to output, Command J to pull up our terminal. And once you've got this open, oops, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. I want you to simply do npm run dev, and I'm gonna cut my other terminal that's running, npm run dev. And what this will do is it will spin up our app in development mode. So here you can see HTTP, localhost 3000. Simply click it, and this will pull up your profile, right? So in this case, boom, you should see this. If you see this, well done. Like tap yourself on the back. You've literally started your first Next.js app. So that's awesome, right? So once you get to this point, I'll explain the folder structure in a second. Command B to pull up the sidebar. This is essentially where that page is rendering inside of page.tsx. So this resembles the home page route, okay? So I'm gonna start drawing on the screen a little bit, but essentially this, whenever you're inside this directory, inside the app folder, here is basically where we will have our page routing, and we're going to get into some complex examples of it in a second. But for now, all you need to know is that this is how you get it set up. So without further ado, what I want to do now is prepare ourselves by having another screen open, and I'm going to go ahead and pull open Clerk, right? So what I want you to do is we set up Clerk yesterday as part of our homework. So all I need you to do now is go to Clerk. So head over to clerk.com, or don't do clerk.com, go to go.clerk.com/sunny. Head over there, click on start building for free, or if you've already created an account, go to dashboard. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install Clerk into our app. Now if you're wondering again, what is Clerk? Clerk is the most simple authentication, powerful authentication that I have yet to witness across all these different libraries that I've used in the past. It's amazing, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to get set up, right? So head over to this right now, and basically you're going to have like a create new app section here. All I need you to do, if you've already created apps before, go ahead and create an application from the drop down. Now here, give it a name. So in this case, I'm going to say chat with PDF challenge. Okay, and this is Delvin goes, I'm actually humbled you posted my portfolio. Thanks, bruv. To anyone who's new, this is the place to be. Oh, honestly, amazing. Thank you so much. Let's keep the energy pumping during this challenge, right? Boom, Jay, 3,000. Holy, oh my days, man. Like 200 people inside of YouTube Live and 2,800 on the viewing room right now. That's it. Goal achieved. Amazing stuff. Welcome to everyone inside this challenge. Crazy, crazy stuff, guys. Look at this. Look, chat with PDF challenge. You'll give it a name, and then you're gonna start ticking off which authentication provider. So if you want sign in with Facebook, you tick it. It's as simple as that. If you want like LinkedIn, Notion, Zero, MetaMask, you want to support, Web3 apps, you can go ahead and do it with MetaMask. In this case, I'm going to start off very simply, and you can even do phone, by the way. It's really simple. You can do username, signups, all that. They handle everything, right? And look how it nicely stacks up. But in this case, I'm just going to start off with Google Authentication to keep this demo relatively simple. But again, bonus points for anyone who includes some additionals, right? We're going to create the app. Let's go ahead and sign in. So once that's done, we will actually get our nice little starter kit. Now here you can see, this is another reason why I love Clerk so much. They've really simplified the dev experience. So at this point, you basically get your starting steps. So you want to select your framework. We're using Next.js. So if you don't know Next.js, Next.js is an awesome library, and you might get confused as to React, Next.js. React is the library, Next.js is the framework for React. So just to help you out, right, that's basically how it works. So we need to install Clerk into our app. So you want to copy this, or you can click this little button here, head over to your code, Command J, pull up your terminal, and I want you to be aware that right now we're running our app, right? So you've got two options. You can either create a new terminal screen, or you can split terminal. So I like to split terminal when I'm working, but because I'm streaming right now, I'm going to create a second terminal so you guys can see very easily what I'm writing. So simply we paste it in and we do npm install Clerk Next.js. All this is doing is it's installing Clerk into our app. Okay, so that's really an important step right now. We're installing Clerk into our app. Now, while that's doing that, you want to copy your environment variables, okay? Now, what is an environment variable? Think about it this way. Clerk, you've set up your account. You've got your Next.js app on the left. You've got your Clerk set up on the right. How do we connect the two, right? How does it know that I'm using this Clerk account over here? So what we do is we have something called a key. And this is a secret key for a reason, right? Because it's basically what powers up our auth, right? So in this case, let's go ahead and copy the key. And it's basically how we identify which account we're on. So let's head back over to our code. You can see that successfully installed. Command J to hide, Command B to open up our sidebar. And then at the top level, so I want you to click in package.json. So we're at the top level. Click on new file, and I want you to create a .env.local file. And this just basically means our local environment variable file, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste it in. Now I'm just pasting it in, and I'm just going to reconfigure mine because I don't want you to see my secret key, okay? Because it's secret for a reason, okay? So in this case, boom, if you paste it in, you'll have this. And this is basically loading in these variables so we can use these variables inside of our code, okay? So let's go ahead, and somebody asked, can I show the dependencies? Yep, here you go. So dependencies, we're using Clerk version 5.2.6 at the time of this recording, okay? So in this case, we got our environment variable set. I'm gonna close this right now, but I'm actually gonna undo. So I've got my correct secret key, close my environment variable. And if I go back to my terminal now, so let's head back over to the code, head over to Node.js. And what you'll see here is it reloads the environment file in. So if you don't see where it reloading, you haven't set up your environment variables correctly, okay? So very, very important stuff, right? Make sure you smash this like button if you're enjoying this content right now, okay? And let me know if you're watching this, right? So just make some noise because everyone's super focused. All right, so in that case, go ahead and do that. Now you've connected your Clerk to your app. So your app knows where it's going basically to handle its authentication. Now, for the next step, we're going to implement something called Middleware. Now, Middleware is a special file that we can introduce inside Next.js. And basically every request that the user makes, think of it like this. Here is my user, here is my website. And every time a request gets made to my website, in the middle, I can intercept that message and do something with it. So what we do is we add a middleware to handle the authentication. So basically, as a message gets sent to my website, I can basically say, is that request authenticated or not? Basically, is the person logged in or not? If I want to have any sort of protection against roots, like we spoke about earlier with the dashboard, we can go ahead and actually make it very, very simple by doing this. So it's so easy to get this set up, right? And this is what I love about Next.js. So we're basically going to collapse everything. And at the top level where we've got package.json, I want you to simply go ahead and create a middleware file. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to say middleware.ts, okay? Middleware.ts, like so. And once you've got this open, all we're going to do is we're going to copy the middleware file and we're going to paste it in. So very, very simple. And now what this essentially is saying is just basically going ahead and making sure, just so you're aware, by the way, they did a nice little change with the Clerk setup. And basically all that meant is now everything is actually public, and then you can actually just specify which routes you want to protect. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that everything behind dashboard, so /dashboard. So imagine it's like myapp.com/dashboard, right? Everything. So every single page on this point should be protected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called a route matcher. So I'm going to say const is protected route. equals create root matcher. And then at the end of this word, if I do control spacebar, I can actually import it from, so you can just go ahead and type it in as well. But I can go ahead and actually do this. Now you have to make sure if you're using a source directory, yeah, just make sure you account for that, right? But in this case, we're keeping it very simple. So in this case, create route matcher. And basically it's just saying anything which is /dashboard. And this is like a wildcard, which means anything above that, or in front of it, will also get counted in, right? So we're going to say is a protected route. And then what we do is, this is the magic bit of code, which basically adds in that authentication step. So here we have something called an arrow function. So arrow function basically is a snippet of code that runs, but they give us 2 arguments, right? Yo, Mr. Frank, I see you, dude. Day 2 challenge is going strong. Let's go, #PubFam. What's good, man? Good to see you back on the stream. Amazing stuff, right? Over here now, we're gonna go ahead and we've got 2 arguments. We've got the authentication and we've got the request object. So these 2 get passed in with the Clerk middleware. And all we gotta do is we've got to say if is a protected route, right? So we basically say is protected route and we pass in the request object, right? So if it's that, then what we do is we simply say return auth.protect, right? So we say return auth.protect. So we just simply do auth.protect. And it's as simple as that, guys. This is enough to go ahead and get it set up. So right now mine's freaking out because I'm not returning the correct thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and double check this one. Yep, so that's why actually, because I'm not returning it. So here what you want to do is, in this case, you can do an explicit return or you can actually just do an implicit. So basically this just means that this right now will return out of the box. So if is protected route, auth protect, right? We don't actually need to return it. That's my mistake before. Yeah, you just do an auth protect. And if you really want to simplify things, you can go ahead and do the following. Okay, so that works as well. I've made the mistake of returning it. You don't need to. Okay, so that's it. That's literally it. Now, if I go to /dashboard, it will protect the route. So let's go ahead and give this a test, right? My home page should work. So this would be the landing page that the user would come onto. And I'm just going to run the app in a separate port so we can actually get that up and running as well. So in this case, if you come here, but now if I was to go to a web, like my browser, and I type in, for example, /dashboard, well, firstly, we should get 404 because it doesn't exist, but it will actually firstly send me to the authentication because I've gone and hit that protected route. So does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so very, very simple step. And it's as simple as that to implement authentication using Clerk. That's why I love it, because it just took us 5 minutes and we've got all of our authentication set up and now we've got protected routes. All right, this is so jokes. All right, so now we've done that, head down. We need to wrap our app in something called a Clerk provider. And this allows me, while I'm coding, I want to basically access a bunch of things. I want to basically say, can I get access to the user right now? Who is logged in? Are they logged in? Is it loading the authentication state? I want to do all that kind of cool stuff. So the way you do it now is every single thing inside of Next.js is revolved around this layout file. Okay, so you got layout and you got the page. The page is what we see on the right hand side. The layout file is basically how we position everything. So to summarize it and make it super easy right now, I'm going to cut out a little bit of this fluff. Now you can customize metadata. This essentially is the page, you know, like the little title at the top and all that kind of stuff. You can customize that. I'm going to keep it very, very straightforward here and not include a lot of these, so you guys can get a very, very clean example of our code. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of all of this. So that way there's no fluff here, right? Very, very simple. And then what I want you to do is inside of your layout, what we do is you see this Clerk provider right here. You just want to go ahead and copy that bit, right? Copy that, go over here, and it's going to surround the entire app, right? And you basically want to pop that down like so. Now you need to import this, but in Control Spacebar, you can go ahead and import this at the top of the file. Hit save, ignore this thing. This is one of my other extensions. Don't worry if you don't see that. And you should see your landing page still go ahead and load. If you're at this point, well done, because you've already set up your authentication. It was that simple. That is literally the power of Clerk. So once you've done that, that's actually all set up. John Gill goes, always some new good stuff from Sunny. It's amazing, right? Honestly, really, really simple. So in this case now, you can see we've got the Clerk setup code over here. All of this will be on your Clerk account as well. And then boom, you run npm run dev. So literally, authentication is done. It's as simple as that. Right now, if you want to go ahead and get those bonus points like I spoke about, you can check out Clerk Elements for yourself. And I'm just going to leave it there. You can literally check out Clerk Elements and go ahead and customize your sign in and everything like that. And they've got a bunch of steps as well to go ahead and do that. Bonus points for that. Okay, so super, super simple. I'm keeping things very, very surface level with that. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the rest of the build. So I'm going to go ahead and get back into my app. And don't worry about code insiders. You don't need code insiders, right? We're using just regular VS Code, okay? Elements is so easy to do. Digital Alchemist said, amazing stuff. Yeah, very, very simple to do. Okay, so first up, let's jump into what we're actually going to do here. I'm going to keep this available for us. So we're going to build the beautiful landing page. Now, which one am I talking about, guys? I'm actually talking about this over here. So let me go ahead and pull it up in a separate window so you guys can see. All right, so I'm going to pull it open here. There we are. So we're building this page right now, okay? Now, this uses something called Tailwind CSS. It uses something called Shadcn for these button components and all this kind of stuff. Now, Tailwind CSS is basically something called utility classes. As I type in like text red 500, it just changes the text to red. Basically, it's taken that utility class of text red 500, and you get different shades like 100, 200, 300, up to 900. And basically, you can change the color of text, and that will just translate to something called CSS, which allows us to change the color of the web page. It's really simple. It sounds way harder than it is, but it's already installed when we've done the setup, right? So we already don't need to worry about Tailwind CSS. Now, what we're going to do is actually install something called Shadcn, right? So Shadcn, if you head over to ui.shadcn.com, amazing component library. You can see a bunch of stuff over here that you can go ahead and use with it. We're going to go to the docs and we're going to click on installation. So go ahead and click here. Our framework is Next.js, as I mentioned before. Click on this, and then we're going to go ahead. We've already done this step, right? So we don't need to do that. We're going to go here to npx Shadcn UI latest init, and this will go ahead and set it up inside of our project. So let's go ahead and pop this in. I've done that mistake. So let's go ahead and pop Command J, open up our second terminal, and you simply want to paste it in, okay? So npx Shadcn UI latest init. Now, what will happen is it will ask us what styling you want. I'm going to keep all the defaults, and I'm going to keep the color the same. You guys obviously customize it. Don't just keep it the same as what I'm doing. Customize it up, right? CSS variables for color, yes. And then that will go ahead and actually set up our, all the files that it needs to set up. And what you'll notice here is we'll have a new components folder, right? So an example of how Shadcn works is it doesn't install this heavy module into our app. Instead, it essentially copies and pastes components that are built with Shadcn into our own folders. So how do I mean by that? You can set up any fonts here if you want, and like dark mode and all that good stuff is here as well. Again, all bonus points for that. But here, what we're going to do is we're going to run an example of adding the button component. Okay, so if we want to add a button component from Shadcn library with all the styling and everything, we simply paste it into our terminal, and this will install a button into our project. Now, what does that mean? If we go into our project, you can see now I've got a button, and this is all using Tailwind CSS. So if you hover over this, you guys can see for yourself. It goes ahead and shows a bunch of the utility classes that it will go ahead and get translated to. Now, I do want to mention, if you are using Tailwind CSS, which we are in this build, go to the extension tab and type in Tailwind, and make sure you've got the Tailwind CSS IntelliSense set up, right? So this right here. So it's about 6.9 million people have installed it. You want to do that because, like I said before, where you've got like background colors and all that, it gives you the auto completion to go ahead and get it all set up. So it makes it really easy to go ahead and build your apps when you're using Tailwind CSS. So install that. Right. If anyone is coding along, don't worry, guys. Again, this is a replay. Replay will be available straight away afterwards. I want to keep it concise because we've got a lot to do. Okay. So in this case, you'll see a change color. That's because we just changed a couple of things inside of our setup. But what we want to do now is inside of our page.tsx, we're going to go ahead and actually from the main, we're going to delete everything inside of the main, right? So in this case, you'll see this. We can go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm simply going to type in H1, let's build a SaaS AI application, right? Boom. Hit save, and what you'll see is this. Now it's already got some styling, and you guys can see it's already going ahead and translating this. This is what that IntelliSense extension that we just talked about went ahead and did. So now I want to get rid of all of that because I want to keep it absolutely minimal so I can go ahead and start from scratch. Okay, so now that we have this, the next step is to build the beautiful landing page that we spoke about. So that landing page is this one right here. Oops, I've actually gone ahead and there you go. This landing page here. So we're going to dive into that right now, and I'll show you how we can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just get my code up. So I've got a little bit of a thing to check against. Well, firstly, we've got a bunch of features that we talk about. A bunch of the features are these ones here. Store your PDF documents, blazing fast responses, chat memorization, responsive, cloud backup, interactive PDF viewer, all that good stuff. So in order to list that out, I'm going to use something called an array. An array is basically a list. So above our code, above it all, I'm going to say const features. Const means a constant, so the value will not change. And to write a list in coding, we basically just have our square brackets, the array. Okay. And inside of here, we have objects. And inside of these objects, we're basically going to have the name of the title of what we're doing. For example, store your PDF documents. Right, so store your PDF documents, and then after that, I'm going to have, for example, a description. And for this description, you can go ahead and put in whatever you want. Honestly, in this case, I've got my description right here. And then we're going to have a icon. Now, for these icons, when you set up Shadcn, what you might have not realized is you actually went ahead and installed a library called Lucid React. So I'm going to use a couple of icons. So I'm going to actually install them beforehand here. You can see for yourself, BrainCog, icon, globe, monitor, smartphone, and a bunch of these others. Remember, by the way, if you're getting stuck at any point, I give away all the code at day 5. But obviously, this is a challenge. I want you to actually code along with me. If you get stuck, leverage the community, ask for help. Do not quit. Period. Just don't quit. All right. That's the main thing that I can tell you. You will succeed. Just do not quit when you're following along with me. Right. So for the last bit, we're going to give it an icon. So each one's going to have an icon. So let's take this example right now. Store your PDFs, keep them all important, and the globe icon. That will translate to this, right, when we go ahead and render it on the page. So that's one example of the feature. I've got a couple of others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy in my values and pop them in. Right, and you can see here an example of what we've done. So I'm going to go ahead and just scroll down slowly. We've got blazing fast responsive with the zap icon and the description. Same for chat memorization, same for interactive PDF viewer, same for cloud backup, and same for the responsive across devices, right? So saving a bunch of time there by going and pop that in. So now that's going to be our features when we end up rendering it out, okay? Now, inside of the main block over here, let's go ahead and start building out that page, okay? So we've got a few things that we want to go ahead and do here. Well, firstly, this entire page is rendered inside of a div, right? It's wrapped in a div. And you see that's how I've got this nice little border going on right here. So we're going to actually go ahead and pop in a div, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Let's just say div. And this is basically where we're going to start popping in our extra elements, right? So the first section that we're going to do is this top section. So I'm actually going to start drawing on the screen to make it super easy for you guys. So we're going to firstly build this part here. Okay, so this area over here. So in order to do that, what we do is we simply, inside of our div, we're going to pop in another div because I'm going to separate a few things out. And that's actually going to have another div inside of it. So before we carry on any further, I just want to start styling up the colors so you can see how it layers on. So this one is going to be a background gradient. You see how it goes from like a purple to a white? So we're going to say from, so in this case, I'm going to say background gradient. So background gradient to bottom left. And you can go ahead and customize these as much as you want. I'm going to say from the bottom left to bottom left. I'm going to say from white, okay, to indigo 600. Now, if I do that, what you'll find is right now there's no height on the screen, which is why we're not seeing anything. And I just want to check as well, inside of my layout, what we actually want to do is right now there's no content on the screen. If I was to put, for example, a hello here, what you'll find is you see how the gradient pops in. What I need to tell the screen in my layout file is always use the maximum height, right? So if I remove that now, you see how it's gone, nothing's on the screen. Right. So in this case, in the body of the layout file, I want to go to add a style here, and I'm going to say minimum height of screen. Okay, so minimum height of screen. I'm going to set the height of the screen to be a set height, which is height of screen. And then I'm going to say overflow hidden. So anything which overflows on the screen is going to be hidden. And then we're going to apply something called flex column. Okay, now you can see here, again, nothing is showing up because we have no children being rendered, children being this page. Okay, now if I type in hello guys, what you'll see is my layout is not actually applying. That's very strange. I should have changed it, to be honest. Let me go ahead and rerun my application. I'm just going to rerun it again, npm run dev. I should have done that, but anyway, if it doesn't, I'll actually not, I know why it's not done it, right? So what we need to do now, go into our page.tsx, we have to say flex one. So head over to the page itself. And I want you to simply go ahead and pop in. So this is just going to say background left. Okay, so it doesn't do it. Okay, interesting. Why is that? It should be. If I do flex one, I should have taken up the whole width. Okay, anyway, we'll build it out. Screw it. Well, I'll get this working. Okay, so at the top bit, I'm going to start picking up the pace as well. Anything that overflows here, for example, like here, should be scrollable. You see how it's scrolling around? but it's always wrapped around this nice little border. So we're going to say overflow scroll. We're going to say that it's got a padding of 2 on a phone view. So you see that padding of 2. But what we want to make sure is that when we go to a large screen, I increase the padding, right? So whenever I'm writing Tailwind CSS classes, you'll find here that padding of 2 means that basically, you see how the padding gets bigger? Everything is mobile responsive to begin with, right? So all of my rules, padding of 2 here applies on the mobile. And then when we hit a large breakpoint, or you can have small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, and so forth. When we hit that large breakpoint, it increases the sizing of the padding. So you see on the large screen, the padding's bigger, right? So let's go ahead and carry on. So now inside of this div, we're going to do class name BG white. So in this case, we're going to do background white. Oh my God, what is going on with me today? Background white. And as you can see now, we've got a little bit of an insider there. Background white, padding white of 24. Small screen is going to be a padding white of 32. Round the corners off. And then we're going to say drop shadow of extra large, right? So in this case, I don't want that. I want to do extra large, right? And as you can see, already we're getting a bit more of a UI going on, right? So that's because we've got some padding on the y-axis, okay? Flex one works for me in my code. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that right now. Mine's really bugging out, to be honest with you. That should have gone to the bottom of the screen. My VS Code is doing some weird thing right now. If I do flex one, that should, yeah, okay, there you go. There you go. There it is. It's working, right? That's what we wanted. If you do flex one, and the reason why it's working in layout, flex column, basically flexbox. I have a whole video on my channel if you want to check it out. It's literally flexbox froggy. I go through the whole tutorial. And then in this case, when we do flex column, everything is stacked up on top of each other. And then when we go into our page, which is basically the child of this, flex one says take up the maximum space that you can. So that's how we go ahead and get this effect, right? So that's how we do that. In this case, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's carry on coding. In this case, inside of this div, we're going to have another div, right? So let's go ahead and pop in another div here. So in this one, we're going to have another div. The outer div, the style of that one, it's going to be a flex column container. And this is basically going to be where all of these things are stacked up. Ken, you're in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. All right, we're going to center all of the elements. So justify center, item center. I'm going to do a margin of auto, and I'm doing something called max width of 7XL. Now you'll notice that I do this a lot in the build, and it basically stops us from getting past these constraints. So you see how I always keep the maximum width a lot of the time in this boundary. So you'll notice how here I've got some space, and here I've got some space, right? So right now this is the maximum width. So I basically said you've got a maximum width of this space, and then define the margins, which is MX Auto, by yourself to center it. So that's basically what I did here. MX Auto means margins are automatically set on either side, and then we can go ahead and do that. Okay, now it's got a very nice inset design. Yeah, I know, it's cool, right? And then we're gonna say padding x-axis of 6, and then we're gonna say on a large screen padding x of 8, right? So in that case, super simple, right? Inside of the div over here, we're gonna do another little change. In this case, it's nested, but trust me, it's going to look really cool. We're going to say MX Auto, maximum width of 2XL. And on the small screen, I'm going to say the text should be centered. And this is all to basically make it responsive on a phone. I want it to look really clean. Okay, now here's where we start putting in the good stuff. So here what we say is we say your interactive document companion. So let's go ahead and pop that in. You can see your interactive document companion, like so. Let's go ahead and color that in. So I'm going to give that class name a bit of styling over here, and I'm going to pop these in. Obviously, when you're watching the replay of this, you can feel free to just pause the video and copy along. This is text-based, font semi-bold, leading 7, and text indigo, and you can play around for yourself. If I get rid of that, you'll see it changes a little bit of the style for yourself. You can play around with this and see for yourself, right? If I explain every single part, you're gonna fall behind. It's gonna be the longest video in the world. So it really doesn't make sense for me to go and do it. I want you to play with the code yourself. That's the way you learn. Okay. Transform your PDFs into interactive conversations. This is the SaaS that we're building. So obviously I want to make this more grand. It looks like it sucks right now. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to pop this in. Margin top of 2, large text, font bold, tracking tight, and then text gray bar. You can see after we hit the small breakpoint, I changed the text from 3XL to 6XL. So if I go ahead and expand this, you see how when I overreach, look at that. When I hit the small screen, on the small screen, sorry, text 3XL, as we hit the small breakpoint, boom, it goes to a larger size. And as you can see now, we're starting to build out that section. So we've got the P tag done, and then we've got another P tag, And inside of here is where I nest in basically the description. So everything that you see here, introducing chat with PDF, all that stuff, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in the text here, right? So in this case, you can see for yourself, right? Here, I've just gone ahead and split it up with span tags, but everything is sitting inside this P tag, okay? So introducing chat with PDF, break means a new line. And then we're going to go ahead and say, upload your document, and our chatbot will answer questions, summarize contents, and do everything for you. Span, basically, change the color of this text. If you look at that in a single line, it will make a bit more sense. So it's saying, as it basically wrap chat with PDF, so in the span tag, and color it with text indigo 600. Done the same thing over here, and basically show this on the screen, okay? So right off the bat, now you can see that looks pretty good, right? Very, very nice. If we want to go ahead and style that a bit more, we can change the paragraph styling itself. Here, I'm just going to give it a bit of a margin on the top, and I'm going to give it a bit of coloring. So let's go ahead and pop that in right now. All right, so there you go. And immediately we're getting a page together, all right? So it's starting to come together really, really nicely. This is going to be your homework, by the way, today. So dial in, all right? If anyone's getting stuck, help each other out. This is going to be your submission. So it's very, very important you follow along. Okay, next up, we've got the button. Right now, we did install the button from Shadcn a few steps back. So now you see, I'm not using a regular button. I'm using the button imported from components UI button. And that means that the one that we just installed earlier. And this is actually going to have the get started link inside of it. Now, we are using Next.js links. So if I go ahead and type in link, I'm going to import from the Next.js library. So you can see here, next link. And basically, this is going to have something called an href. And this is the page that I'm sending them to. So that's going to be /dashboard, okay? And what we're going to say is simply get started, right? So get started, and then we're going to close that off. Oops, what was that? Close that off, like so. Okay, now the problem with this is you've got a button, which is a child. It's not actually correctly laid out. So whenever you have a link inside of the button, you want to pass in the as child prop, and it will behave a lot better. It means if I click on the corners, for example, it will trigger off the link. Otherwise, if I didn't, it will only be when I click the text, and it's weird. Trust me, it's not a nice user experience. So you want the entire button to be clickable. I'm going to give it a bit of spacing from the top, and just like that now, if I was to click this in, it will route me to /dashboard, which is a protected route, which sends me to a login page. So you see how it all comes together, right? So very, very simple stuff. Now we've got the button over here. Now outside of this div, so that's our first section done, right? So literally, I told you, we're going to get there, right? First section done. Second section is going to be this lovely bit of this section here, right? So this that you're seeing on the screen. Well, I don't know what I'm doing right now. What the hell is that, right? We're going to do this. And in particular, this little gradient effect that you see down here. I really, really like this. Liz Myers goes, comment, man, Clerk is cool. I told you it's so clean, right? John Gill, I see you. He goes, let's go. Already looking to tomorrow's sessions. These are great. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Let me know if you enjoy this pace as well, right? Let me know if this pace is doing good for you. A quick little water break as well. And we've still got 3,000 people plus viewing right now, which is mind blowing. 150 on YouTube. The rest are all in the viewing room. Crazy stuff. I'm mind blown by the retention of this challenge. You guys are really showing me you're showing up, which is awesome, right? So here we've got a div, right? And I'm going to show you a little emit trick, right? If you're at div and then you do a crocodile mouth div, that actually creates two divs, which is kind of cool, right? Then we say image, and I'm going to pull from next image, right? Because I want to optimize this image. So let's go ahead and show you. That's basically pulling from next image. And inside of this image, I'm going to pass a couple of things. Now, you can feel free to use this screenshot that I've actually popped in as well. So this is basically what you need to pass in. Firstly, the alt is the app screenshot. So for whatever reason, if my source, which is this Imgur picture, which is the one that you saw here, look at that, guys. Comments coming in. Absolutely awesome. Somebody goes, pace is a bit fast, but I'll watch a replay. Yeah, I want it to be a bit fast because we've got a lot going on in this build that I want to get through, right? And then obviously you can watch it back at your own pace. So in this case, you can use this link, but the only thing that Next.js will do, obviously height, width, and then a bit of styling here. The thing that Next.js does is because it basically, the Next.js image component, firstly, I have a whole video on that, right? So you can go on my channel, type in next image component, and it will give the whole thing for that. But the whole tutorial for that, but basically it optimizes the image. So you have to tell it it's okay to optimize images from imgur.com. Otherwise, it could basically be misused. And somebody could basically, if you set up your website in the wrong way, someone can go ahead and basically just attack the thing by making you optimize all images you don't optimize. So to basically bypass this, you go to your next config And all you have to do, guys, is set up your images pattern. So basically go to next config, you jump in here. And if you really want to know how it's done, you simply click in here, go to the tab that it opens up, and it'll give you a prime example of how to do it, right? So everything here is basically going ahead and showing, right? Somebody goes, can you briefly talk about your thought process while starting the components? No, I'm not going to do that because I do that inside of our course and community. This is more of a challenge. It's not the right time, but somebody goes, same as JS, but I understand everything. Awesome. That's exactly what I want. Watch this, understand it, build it afterwards. That's awesome, right? And thank you, Liz, as well, for giving such good communities. Andy B, yo, what's up, man? Look at the mailman. He goes, Sunny is React boss. That's what I'm talking about. Right, so here we've got this. So you could literally just copy that bit into there. Again, pop that in. But of course, you can take your host name. So in this case, it's Imgur. Right, so in this case, boom, Imgur. We don't need the port. We don't even care about the path name. You just need to do that. And what will happen is it will restart your next server because we changed your next config. If you refresh the page now, what we should see is an image on the screen, right? So in a second, that will load up and we should get a beautiful image. So let's go ahead and do that. And boom, we have a nice little screenshot of the final app that we're actually going to be building. So that's pretty cool. But I want to have that little effect that I told you about, this little blurring effect. How do we do that? I'm going to show you exactly how that's happening. So first things first, the surrounding div, right? I want to go ahead and add in relative. And this is because I have something absolutely positioned. So a lot of these things, do not get freaked out if you're wondering what is absolute, what is relative. Just take it with me, follow along. Like, again, this is where don't worry about understanding every single step. You're not going to always get every little detail. I do break it all down inside the course and community, but this is all like, just take your time with it. Don't worry about it, right? Relative overflow hidden padding top of 16. And then inside this div, I'm going to go ahead and say that margin, oops, sorry, not that. I'm going to say class name, MX auto, max width of 7XL. And then I'm going to go ahead and say the padding on the sides of 6. If I hit save now, you already start seeing it kick in. And on the large screens, a padding X of 8. So basically on a bigger screen, I want a bit more padding involved. So look at that, already looking beautiful, but I want to blur the bottom in. So how do we give that blur effect? Well, underneath the image, inside of the div, right, what we do is, because we've got relative, basically anything absolutely positioned is relative within the parent div, okay? So the way we do this is we have basically a div, and this is actually something, this is more of an accessible trick, right? So you don't need to worry too much about what this line specifically mentions, but if you go ahead and you want to know more about this, you can go ahead and check out what areas do. But in this case, we've got the relative class name, and then we need to do something called an inset, okay? So we're going to basically put a div here. So if I go ahead and pop in the div, and this is actually going to be a div with no content. So it's going to be a self-closed div. And we're going to say class name, and this is basically where I say absolute, right? And I'm going to basically go ahead and pop in a color. I'm going to say background gradient, gradient to the top. So it's going to be bottom from top. And I'm going to say from white. And basically what you can do is you can add a / and you can basically put a percentage in. So I can go and say like from white, but I can say 50% opacity. But in this case, I just want to do 95% opacity. And then I basically go ahead and do a padding top of 5% is what I want. So if you don't see your values here and you want to do a custom value, you can put square brackets in. And this is known as the just-in-time compiler from Tailwind CSS. And basically, you can put in a custom value. Now, if I go ahead and hit refresh, it actually has done what we wanted, but it hasn't gone ahead and done it the way I needed it because I haven't put something called inset in. So right now, you can see it's just subtly there. But if I go ahead and do something, I basically go ahead and say minus inset of x32. So on the x-axis of 32, now what you'll see is that should creep upwards. So let's go ahead and see for ourselves. Refresh. So I've messed something up here. So my absolute blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and pop this in. I just want to do a double check here that I've got everything correct. We've got our div, our area, background gradient from white bottom. Oh yeah, so that's why I messed up. So what you want to do is you want to basically, whenever you do anything absolute, you have to basically give it its position. So in this case, I need to say it's bottom, and there you go. That's why. So when it's absolutely positioned, it's relative to the parent container with a relative tag. If you don't put a relative tag, it's basically going to go to the entire page, which is not what you want. So in this case, we say bottom 0, and now you can see what happens. Now, if I get rid of the inset, what you'll find is you see it doesn't go ahead and hit on the right section. So inset will pull it up a little bit more. And there you go. Look at that. Really clean. And it gives this nice little effect when you scroll down. And then the next section will be essentially just this bit. So we're going to do our first map. Okay, now a map means basically where we can go ahead and loop through the features that we wrote earlier, so these top ones, and we can basically go ahead and pop it in. Okay, somebody goes, I can start this tomorrow, or more amazing stuff. As long as you start, that's the main thing, right? So go to the div, go outside that div, so try not to get confused here. And then it'll be in this part here, okay? So over here, I want to add another div, and this is where we basically are going to map through everything that we talked about. So this is going to be something called a DL. So it's actually like a detailed list. So in this case, we've got our class name. We'll style that afterwards. We're going to have a detailed list, so a DL. And then inside of here, we're going to have detailed like components inside, right? So this is basically going to be the the different features that we have inside. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in for the list. I'm going to do a square bracket that's in the curly brackets to go ahead and put some JSX in. We say features dot map, okay? And map means I want to run through every single feature and I want to return something. So here I can say feature, and I can basically go ahead and do this. And now make sure you don't do curly brackets. It's actually parentheses here, and that means implicitly returning. Okay, someone said, I've never seen that before. Is that new? It's more accessible, right? As in when screen readers like Google read your website, they actually pick up on this a bit more. Now here, what I do is I put a div, and I'm going to go ahead and put a DT tag. Okay, now DT tag is basically different features like I mentioned, and then we've also got DD, and I'm going to explain what these mean, but you can go ahead and check them out yourself. So we're going to do DD as well. Okay, now here I'm going to have the feature description, and then over here I'm actually going to have the feature icon. Now how do you render out an icon from like something like this? So the actual icon is there, but how do I get that and render it out as a JSX element? Well, it's very simple. All you do is you basically go ahead and you just do a I don't know, I'm going to call it crocodile mouth, and you do feature dot icon, and that's literally it. That's how you can go ahead and render out the different icons. So if I was just to do that right now, you can see already they get imported on the screen. So it's mapping through each one and it's basically rendering it out. Now if I go to DT and I do a class name, let's start styling it, right? So I'm going to say inline, let's do font semi-bold. There we go, semi-bold, and then I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a text gray of 900 because all icons count as text. So in that case now, these will actually change. If I change that to 100, you'll see that they change color, right? So it's actually just a very light gray, a dark gray, sorry. Now that's good. We're going to also add in a bit of styling for the icon itself. So I'm going to make that a bit quick for us, like I said. Aria, you can go ahead and check for yourself, right? In this case, you can see on the right now it's absolutely positioned, and the reason why it's disappeared is because you see how they're all thrown in the corner. Right now it's absolute to the entire parent, and that's the last time we put relative inside of this context. So the way you fix that is inside of the div that it's surrounded in, you make that relative, and now it's relative. You see how it's relatively positioned to its container. So that's how you fix that. We simply add in a padding left of 9, and now you can see, boom, they all get lined up, right? Always use ordered list or unordered list. Have to try DL out. Yeah, always here to teach you guys new things. So inside of DL now, a bunch of styling. This one I'm going to save us a bit of time. I'm going to pop it in. You guys can pause the video, watch for yourself. But basically, I'm adding something called a grid in, and I'm saying that on a single screen, so on the mobile view, grid columns 1, but as we get to a small screen, grid columns 2, as we get to a large screen, grid columns 3, and I'm just giving a gap between every element on different breakpoints, different sizes. So now you can see, look how it turns into a grid. Okay, so 3 columns, 2 columns, 1 column. Okay, so that's how essentially we're doing it. The div that surrounds everything, again, a bit of styling around that. Again, like honestly, at this point, you can go ahead and pop this in and just like experiment yourself. Now, what I would recommend is when you're trying to learn this stuff, right, go ahead and hover over it and you'll see what the CSS that it actually does, right? So these are utility classes. Before you know it, it's so easy to read Tailwind, right? Like padding X to 6 on a small screen and above, margin top 20, medium screen above, margin top 24, large screen and above, padding X gets bigger. So I know now that if I go here, the padding got bigger. And just like that, it's pretty straightforward, right? So that's literally, without even realizing, guys, homepage is done. Right, so crazy, right? Absolutely awesome stuff. You've literally built your first homepage. So just like that, we've done the landing page. So first, you smash the like button. That was pretty damn cool and pretty quick. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the dashboard. So I'm just going to quickly get a check already. So we've already done the landing page. We've already done Clerk authentication and middleware. Now we're going to build the dashboard. We've already installed Shadcn. We're actually going to go ahead and do the header as well inside the dashboard. And then we're going to do the upload functionality. And then we're going to deploy it. Okay, so very good pace for today. Let's keep on going. So I want to go ahead and click on get started. And remember, this will direct me in my code. That get started was actually a Next.js link to the dashboard, which is a protected route from our middleware. So now if I sign in with Google, I'm going to authenticate the user. So obviously I've got my Google account here, and then we can go ahead and log in. And what this will do is it then will take me to the link that I'm trying to access. So /dashboard. And what you'll see is a 404 because we've not built this page. So this is good. Okay. If you get into this point, firstly, it let us through, which is good. Our authentication is working, but the page just doesn't exist. Okay. So how do we build that page? Well, in Next.js, Command B to pull up your sidebar. The way you do routing or page routing inside of Next.js is it's folder based. So page.tsx resembles our /. It's our home page. Let's say I want to have a dashboard page. What I do is I create a folder called dashboard and I create a page.tsx inside. So that means that now at /dashboard, that is the page that renders out. And the same concept applies to layouts. We have something called a root layout, which is the one that we've been customizing. And that's the one that we first set up, like where everything starts off and then the page renders into it. As we nest our folders up, so as we have a dashboard, what I can do is I can have a layout inside of my dashboard, and then anything under that root, the layouts will stack up. So if I have a top level layout, which says everything is blue, and then I have an embedded layout inside dashboard. So everything from dashboard onwards would have pink text. Now you can see the layouts can actually stack up as well. So this is exactly what we're going to do right now. So we're going to go ahead and create a folder inside called dashboard. And then inside of here, I'm going to create a page.tsx. Okay. And ignore that for now. It's fine. It's just going to freak out for a bit while we're doing this. Now, I've got a really nice little snippet trick. Go to your extensions, type in ES7, and there's a really, really cool little extension called ES7 Plus. And this is the one that you want to go ahead and use, guys. So ES7 Plus React Redux React Native Snippets. Install that, go back, and now simply type in RFCE, and you will go ahead and get your component. Yours might say import React at the top. You can delete that line. If you actually press Command, comma, you actually see this. Now, if you go to your extensions, go down to ES React Snippets, and you can actually just disable it there. So that's how you get rid of that, in case you're wondering, right? If all these tips are handy, smash the like button, right? I really appreciate it, right? The retention, wow, it's actually insane. This is so, so cool. Okay, so in this case, at the top level now, we're going to go ahead and say this is our dashboard. Now, first things first, oops, what have I done there? Dashboard, hit save. Now, I'm going to go to our localhost /dashboard right now, and we should have access to it. So I've actually got a few different apps running. So maybe it's my cookies are getting a bit messed up. It happens, especially when I'm live all the time. So in this case now, make sure we're logged in. And now as I'm authenticated, it loaded it. Okay. Somebody goes, nice. I didn't know that trick. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Okay. So now we've got the page. And as you can see, like I mentioned before, this page is our top level page. Right. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little intro and teaching into your routing inside Next.js. So here, this is resembling our /. This is our homepage. Okay, so this one right here is the /, and this right here resembles our / dashboard. Right, so you see how it works, right? And you can see this is our root layout file. So this gets applied to every single route on our website. If I add a layout here, what happens is it essentially stacks up. So this one will get applied, and then the layout that I put here will also get applied. And we want to do that, right? I'm actually going to show you how we're going to do that right now. So inside the dashboard, what I want to do is I want to have a layout which gets applied. So say, for example, here, it's a file called layout.tsx. And it follows the same principle as this layout, okay? So I'm going to show you a little trick now. You just do RFCE, type in the layout, and then honestly, you could just say, if you really want, you could say dashboard layout, okay? Layout right now, like so. And then here, what you can do is it just takes something called children. So every time you essentially have a layout file, the children is essentially the page that renders out. Now, in order to give this right in terms of TypeScript and everything that we're doing right now, all you need to do is say that the props come through here, So every time we render through, you can destructure. It's called destructuring. Here you can go ahead and say the children come through, and then TypeScript will say, well, that's implicitly an any type because you haven't told me what type it is. So what we do is we define the type, and it's actually a React node. Okay, and we render the children like so. Okay, now if you've done that right, so obviously I'm getting kicked out because I keep on, it's very annoying. I keep on basically, on my other screen, I have a running app, and it's getting the two confused because what's happening now is my cookie from this one is conflicting with this cookie. So it's kind of, if it keeps on happening, yeah, it's happening a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this one, and it will stop that from happening. Because that's why it's getting a bit conflicted. So now if I log in, that won't happen. I've got another app running. That's why that's happening. But just to show it and show you, but we're going to do the header anyway, so it's fine. I can explain it. So once you're here, that's basically where it's rendering through. So now if, for example, in the dashboard, I always want to render out something called the header. Okay. So in the dashboard onwards, I want to have the header component. So let's go ahead and pop this in. Why not use props with children for the children props? I actually don't know what you're talking about. So maybe I haven't seen that before, but I will look into that, right? So for the dashboard here, I want to make sure Clerk's always loaded. And I want to do that for a couple of reasons because I have things like that are dependent on my user being logged in. So Clerk gives you a really nice helper function called Clerk loaded. And this just ensures that everything is actually loaded in when you go ahead and pop it in. Somebody goes, I like watching your videos. I appreciate that so much. Rio de Janeiro in the house. Amazing stuff. Okay. And then I want to have a div. And that's where the children are going to get rendered through. Children, again, is just the page, right? The page is going to get rendered there. Okay. James Steph, you're the best. Keep it up. Dude, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. It means a ton. Here, I'm going to have the header being rendered out. So here we've got a header itself. Very, very nice. Congratulations on your content. I appreciate you. Thank you. Right. We've got the header. So now I'm going to create a custom component here. So the reason why you might want to do this is because, like I said, I don't want the header to be on the homepage, for example. Oops, what have I done there? Ooh, that's horrible. Let's go to our localhost 3000 homepage. So now I don't want the header to be here, but once I'm in the dashboard, I want that layout onwards to be embedded with headers. So any route from /dashboard inward, I want to embed its own layout. So that's how we go ahead and use this nested layout structure. So in this case, we've got the header. So inside of components now, not inside the UI, right? UI, I keep that separate to go ahead and, oh, that's so cool. John Gill goes, this is amazing. Got my son Teddy watching. It's his 9th birthday as well. Happy birthday, Teddy. I appreciate you. So been struggling to watch. Have an awesome birthday. Absolutely cool stuff. It's so cool to have youngsters tuning in as well. And it's awesome, your energy. I see you in LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much for the support. Components inside of here, I'm going to create a new file called header.tsx. And you can see it's outside the UI component. Now I keep the UI as a as basically the folder for the Shadcn imports. And then outside of it, I keep it, you can honestly structure it however you want, but I keep it separate so I know which ones I built versus which ones I haven't. Now here I'm going to do RFCE, and I'm simply going to just say header for now. Okay, so that's very simple. Now over in the dashboard, over in my layout, sorry, I can go here and I can remove my comment to just say it's actually a header component. And just like that, now if I do this and I hit save, you can see my header renders through. Okay, so now every page will have the header being rendered into it. Now, I just wanted to give a little bit of styling above this, so I've always got the right styles being applied. Somebody goes, the goat of coding, Papa React. I appreciate you, dude, so much. Flex column, and this is going to be flex 1, because remember the core layout, if we think about it, we're nested at this point. If we go down to the original layout, we were in a flex column, right? So flex column. So when I go to this layout, I'm saying flex 1, which means that basically, if it might make more sense to put it there. So already use your parents' maximum space that you can, and then going ahead and do flex column. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you, Speedster, for clearing that one up. Right. I love that. Everyone's wishing him happy birthday. That's so cool. Yeah. So in this case, for the header itself, we'll render that out, and I'm gonna say height of screen as well. So height of screen. Cool. And then for the children, this is where the main content will go ahead and render in. Okay, so very, very simple. Class name is going to be flex1, and it's going to say overflow y auto. Okay, so that way, if we've got anything that's overflowing or not in here inside of our dashboard, we can go ahead and basically scroll through it. So that's perfect. Now we're set. So let's build out the header. So click through to your header, in the components folder, and we're going to build out the header to look really, really nice. And that's actually super simple. So here, the top part, we're going to have a link, right? So super easy, straightforward. Here, I'm going to have a link. It's going to be a Next.js link. So what am I doing? Next.js link like so. This one is going to have a href to go, oh God, a href to have a / dashboard. So this will take me back to the home screen. And this is basically going to be where I have the chat to anyone logo, right? So in this case, it should have been a self-closed, not self-closed component. This was a chat to PDF. And what I'm doing is I'm spanning color and boldness around the PDF, right? So in this case, I can do class name and I can say text indigo 600, right? So text indigo, oh my God, what is going on? Damn it. All right, 600, there we go. Boom, I'm gonna change my music up. Right, Jay, I'm gonna play your playlist. Everyone loves this playlist so much. I need a little bit of a vibe right now. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, a little water break as well. I think I'm getting dehydrated. Okay, so over on the link over here, boom, class name, I'm gonna say text to Excel. Okay, boom, just like that. That looks a lot cleaner already. Somebody goes, can we make the header component Shadcn? Yeah, you can. You can do it in that way if you want. That's so nice. Somebody goes, I'm using your old videos on a project. It was like finding a glass of water in the desert. I love that. That's actually a really nice way of putting it. Right now, only if you're signed in do I want to show the pricing, my documents and everything like that, because I actually built this page before I knew the user would be signed in. So you don't actually need to have this, but I think it's cool to show you that you have this helpful signed in component from Clerk themselves, and it will only render this stuff if you're signed in. Now, the main thing I want to show you here is the user button, okay? So firstly, I'm going to wrap everything inside in a div, but the user button is so cool because what this does is it basically gives us a little profile picture. You can see right here. And if I click it, guys, like, look, I didn't code anything special here. Clerk out of the box allows me to do all of this cool stuff, manage my account, sign out, beautiful UI just by putting a user button component in it. So really, really slick, right? Eventually, we're going to have a upgrade button here. So that's going to be for like the third day, build day. So we're going to just put an upgrade button comment there, but we're gonna have a couple of buttons above it, right? So the first one is going to be a button. This button is going to have a link inside, and this link is going to be for the pricing page, right? And obviously these are going to be built out as we progress through the day. So / dashboard / upgrade is going to be this one. So that's going to be the first thing. This one is going to be as child. Remember that little rule that I told you about? So you can click anywhere on that button. And for the variant in Shadcn, you can actually go ahead and customize a couple of different variants. If I did destructive, it'll be red, for example. This one's going to be link. Okay, and I actually want to hide this one on a mobile view. So in this case, it will be hidden and it only appears on a larger screen. So it'll only go ahead and appear on a larger screen like so. Now in this div, first you style it up. I can't stand this. It looks ugly. Flex items should be centrally aligned. And then I want to do something called space X of 2. So space X of 2. And now you can see, look at that. It goes ahead and gets spaced out accordingly. But right now you can see that these aren't correctly aligned. And that's because my overall surrounding div needs to be a flex to make it all in a line. So now you can see it's in a line. But if I do something called justify between, you'll see it will automatically calculate space between the two. Right, so now you can see my left div and my right div are automatically spaced with Flexbox. Flexbox is incredibly powerful. I run through it on my channel as well. I have videos for that. We cover it in the course, everything like that. So you can go ahead and check out the channel yourself to go ahead and get updated on that. But here I'm gonna say background should be white. Background should be white. Shadow should be small. And you can see a little tiny shadow now is being applied in. What's the difference between Space X2 and Gap2? Gap2 is typically more so used when you're using grids. Space X2 is like saying every child on the inside of my container, like Flex container. If I say space X of 2, I'm going to say on the X-axis space them. If I say space Y of 2, it does on the Y-axis. But Gap can be handy because you don't get this awkward space left over sometimes that you do with X spacing. So sometimes if you want to do responsive design, Gap is an easier one to use. It just wasn't supported for a while, but I think it's supported everywhere now. Now you can do padding 5 and then a border bottom as well. And as you can see, the padding fixes it all together. That looks way cleaner, right? And that's just so much nicer. Now underneath that, we've got 2 more buttons. we're going to have a button for my documents, and that's going to have an outline variant. Hit save and you can see my documents automatically looking really, really nice. We're going to import a icon called File Plus from Lucid React. Once we've got that inside, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the upload functionality. So let's go ahead and pop this in, and you can see it's a button with a link inside that takes us to dashboard/upload. We haven't created these 2 pages yet, so don't worry about it. I'm just clearing that up. Here we've got the File Plus icon. So let's go ahead and hit save now, and you can see that we've got the pricing on the bigger screen. But this is the main thing. If I click that, it'll take me to dashboard/upload. And I really want to stress the point, obviously we haven't built that route, but you can see the benefit of how it's all coming together, right? The upgrade button will be done in day 3 of the builds. So that's actually the header completed. So we've done our header. So awesome stuff. So we've done the header portion. I want to go ahead and build the actual dashboard itself. So we're going to just build it out, and I'll show you how it looks as we do it. This is basically going to have a nice little button on that page, which will go ahead and allow the user to create a new document, and basically it will send them to this upload page as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. I want to show you a little demo of it before we do it, but I think it's fine. We can jump straight into it. So what we're going to do now, Command B, inside of here, dashboard page. Right now it just renders a blank dashboard. We don't want that. We want to render out the actual main thing itself. So we're going to go over to our dashboard and start doing this. So a little bit of styling for the overall div itself. Let's go ahead and pop that in. We've got a max width being applied, and you'll find this rule applies a lot of the time, right? Whenever you've got something, you always want to kind of, the header can be maximum width, but for your content, you always want to give it a maximum width, and then you MX Auto to kind of keep that design rule intact, because someone's eyes, for example, if you're on a massive screen, they're not going to be scanning the full width of your screen. They actually, without realizing, all these web pages actually have a maximum width if you don't already realize, unless you're doing something functional like this, where we have like utility clearly on the page. Okay, so we got the dashboard. Let's go ahead and put H1, say my documents. And then for the text, let's go and do class name. And I'm going to go ahead and pop in a bit of styling for that text. Very, very simple. Let's go ahead and pop that in like so. Okay, my documents. And then you can see, look, already looking very clean. And look, the maximum width. You see that? Very, very nice. Pace is pretty fast compared to user. I'm already 25 minutes behind live. Don't worry about it. It's completely fine. Like I said, I'm doing it fast because we've got a lot to cover. And then obviously I'm splitting the day up into each different, obviously you got 3 days to build this with me. So afterwards you can watch the replay. It's immediately up afterwards. Now we're going to render a documents folder here as well. Now it's also worth mentioning, everything inside of Next.js 13 upward is basically server component first. Now, what do I mean by this? It means that essentially every component that I write, including the pages themselves, are rendered on the server. And what that means is we can't do certain things like there's different caching rules that are going to apply. We can't have interactive elements unless we convert it to a client component. But in short, basically all we have to do is we have to remember, if we want to do interactive elements, we convert the components to something called a client component. We'll do it when it comes to that point. The main thing here is that I always want this page to be up to date with the latest information. And right now it would cache a lot of the things that happen. So in Next.js 15, this is no longer an issue, by the way. They've completely flipped the caching rules. So if you're watching this when Next.js 15 was out, you don't have to worry about this. But here, I'm going to say export const dynamic equals force dynamic. And basically it just means that this page is always server-side rendered. And that means it's always going to get the latest information, including whatever's in my documents. Okay, so just a little rule of thumb here. I'm going to create a documents component, which is not existing yet. So we're going to go ahead and create our component like so, where we have the header next to it, documents.tsx. This is going to render out all the user's documents, okay? And for now, we're just going to put a placeholder with a little plus sign, which is going to go ahead and have a placeholder document, okay? So fairly straightforward. This is going to actually have all of the user's documents that are going to be listed out. So imagine user has loads of PDFs they've uploaded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a flexbox. It's going to wrap a lot of things. Firstly, let's fix this up because right now it's freaking out. Let's go back to our page.tsx and let's just pop it in like so. And as you can see, the documents are here. Okay, so a little bit of styling. Again, you can review that yourself. Then we're going to render out. So here is tomorrow we would map through the documents because we're going to implement Firestore tomorrow. So map through the documents here. That bit will be fairly straightforward. But for now, we're going to have something called a placeholder document. Somebody goes, how do you make the app so beautiful? Honestly, after a long time in dev, working for clients, all that kind of stuff, you tend to pick up a lot of design habits, and I follow a lot of channels as well. But I make it a mission of mine to teach a lot of the students inside of our course and community what the latest design trends are. Right now, the flat UIs are very in fashion, so we try and go that route and kind of keep you up to date with it. So here, I'm going to create something called a placeholder document.tsx, and you'll get an idea of this very quickly, what's going on here. So what we do is we've got our placeholder document. I'm going to go back into my document, and instead of this, I'm simply going to go ahead and say placeholder document, import it from the document, and you can see it's rendering out itself. Amazing stuff. So I'm just gonna have a quick water break. Let's carry on. We're actually amazing pace right now. Let me know if you're coding along with me, or let me know if you're going to do this one afterwards right now. So go to placeholder document. Let's go ahead and say here, I'm going to go ahead and do a button, right? So rather than a div, it's going to be straight up a button. Let's do button like so, boom. And then here, I'm going to have a P tag inside of our button, and it's just simply going to say, it's going to have two things. It's going to have a plus icon if you haven't got availability to upload, but for now I'm just going to keep it so simple, and we're going to upgrade this as we do it later. Just add a document, right? Very, very simple. Above that, I'm going to have a plus circle icon, so let's go ahead and pop that over here. Plus circle icon, import that from Lucid React, and let's start styling up a little bit, right? So say class name, and I'm going to give this a bunch of different styling here. So let's go ahead and pop that in ourselves, boom, like so. And as you can see here, look at that. Firstly, that made it become that, and I think it's worth maybe showing you as we step through that. So here you can see flex column. Immediately nothing's looking good. Items centrally aligned, again nothing's looking good. Firstly, the main thing really is we have to set a width and height of so that way we can actually see what we're doing. So width and height gives it enough space, right? And now if we do rounded XL, you can see it rounds the corners off. Background gray of 200. So in this case, look, 200 is already a lot better. But the key area with this stuff is the things like the drop shadows. So look, a drop shadow immediately gives it a change, as well as changing the text color to make sure it pops through. Now, subtle changes like that, like look at that. That's so clean, right? And because it's a button, it's already got the default highlight over functionality. And just like that, guys, beautiful little UI, right? Really, really clean, very, really slick. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. Now, of course, you can make this a link and have it that way, but in this case, I'm going to simply listen to the click. And the reason why is because down the line, I'm going to basically check if the user is a pro or a free tier member in day 3. And I'm going to go ahead and basically do a couple of checks. So this is going to be our first client component. Okay. So here I say use client. And that's because I want to do something. I want to go ahead and actually have an on-click listener. Now, the second you have an interactive element for your anything on any component or anything like that, it has to become a client component. Client component means that it renders on the browser. If you think about it, it needs to be a client component, because how is the basically your app going to know? You can't attach to anything on the server, right? So in this case, we need the window object, and that's where on-click and everything like that comes into play. So we have to convert to a client component so we can have interactive listeners. That and state and everything like that, okay? So in this case, we're gonna have our on-click, and it will even scream at you if you try and do this. We're gonna create a function called handle click, and above it, we're gonna create our function. So we're gonna say const handle click equals, and we just simply put an arrow function. And you can go ahead and say it's a function, or you can say it like an arrow function. There's two ways of writing this. This is going to have an asynchronous element inside of it. Actually, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going to be asynchronous. Okay. Now, all we do is we're basically going to push the user to the upgrade page if they click this. Now, in a client component, what we do is, don't worry if you feel behind. Like I said, it's a part of a challenge, right? Do not stress. This is where I told you it's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be challenging. We're going to say const router equals use router. And here I've got two imports, next router or next navigation. Next navigation is the one you want. Okay. Passing the router. This router allows me to send the user to different locations. Okay. So at this point, if I go ahead and say, let's go and do boom, router.push to / dashboard. Oh my god, a bit of a hard thing. Dashboard upload, right? In this case, there we go. Dashboard upload. And now if I click this, notice how it directs me to / dashboard / upload. Okay, so we've got our listener working perfectly, right? So not listener, as in the router handler. That's very simple. Eventually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna check if user is pro or is in free tier, basically. And if they're over the file limit, we're basically gonna push them to the upgrade screen, push to the upgrade page, yeah? So this is what we're eventually gonna do. And again, we're gonna come back to this tomorrow and actually keep on adding to this stuff. So that's the first step. Now we've done this part, we've built out our dashboard. So you see how we're doing it, building a functional dashboard. Now we're going to the upload functionality page. So we're doing really good, guys. Well done for following along right now. Click on this and we go to /dashboard/upload. Okay, so we're going to build this page right now. So how do we do that? Again, folder based routing. So inside of our app folder, we have dashboard. Inside the dashboard, we're going to have the upload folder, and that's going to resemble the /upload root. Here we have upload, and this is where React-Dropzone comes in clutch. Okay, so once we've done this, we're going to deploy it, and then that's going to be your homework point for today, right? So this is like going to be your first piece of proper homework on this challenge, and it's meant to be challenging. Okay, so /upload, and I promise you, it's only going to get nicer from here, right? As in like tougher, right? So page.tsx, so it's going to be fun. Page.tsx RFCE to go ahead and resemble the page, and we're just going to call this the upload page. First things first, as soon as you hit save, you should see that it no longer says 404 because we've created the page. Okay, now inside of this upload page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a component called file uploader. So file uploader, like so. We need to create this component. Inside of my components folder, we're going to go ahead and create a new file called file uploader.tsx RFCE to create it. And this one is going to be a client component. Okay, so in this case, we're going to go ahead to the top. And obviously, if we've got drag and drop elements, it needs to attach to the window. So we have to convert it to a client component. Okay, Digital Alchemist, pro tip, take that gradient background and add dark mode, light mode toggle with Shadcn. Yeah, if you add dark mode, light mode, bonus points straight up. Awesome stuff. Make sure you definitely give that a try if you want to, using the Shadcn dark mode setup. Okay, so here we do file uploader. Sorry, I've spelled that wrong. File uploader, like so. Boom. Okay, now at this point we've got the file uploader being rendered, so we can click into this. It's a client component, and we're going to go ahead and implement something called React-Dropzone. So go ahead, go over to Google, type in React-Dropzone. You'll see for yourself, it will pop up. Simple React hook to go ahead and get things set up, right? HTML5 compliant drag and drop zone for files. So we're going to click on npm install. We're just going to copy that. If you're using Yarn, you can feel free to use Yarn. In this case, I'm going to go to my second terminal and I'm simply going to go ahead and install it. So npm install save React-Dropzone. Quick little water break while that happens. Someone goes, why is everyone using Shadcn? Well, it just saves you so much time, and they've got very, very nice designed elements, and you can customize them as much as you want. It's very, very good, yeah? So in this case, we've installed it, and now you can see they've got a clear example of how to use it. So don't ignore this, because it's really like a very nice example here to go ahead and get set up, right? So literally take it, go ahead and do the following: import drop zone. Go ahead and take this part. The callback in particular is very important. So here, I want you to copy this portion of the example. I'm just going to turn the music down a little bit because I want you to focus for this bit, right? So let me change it. This bit distracting, right? So here, for example, I want you to pop it in. Callback, we have to import from React. And in this case, you've got accepted files. Now, in this case, because we're using TypeScript, I need to tell it that what kind of file it actually is. In this case, we go ahead and we put a bracket around it and we say this is a file array, okay? Because it's basically a couple of files. Now, this is essentially going to be what's triggered off when you drag and drop into the React-Dropzone, okay? So imagine when you drag and drop files, that's exactly what we're building right now, okay? So in this case, what we can do is, let's go down here and you can see this is how you would set it up. So I want you to take the div, go ahead and pop it like so, okay? Hit save. And now you can see, look, drag and drop some files here or click to select files. I'm just going to make sure no files pop up that shouldn't be shown. So I'm going to show this right now. Is anything here that's bad? Not really. Okay, so I can show you guys. So in this case, if I was to click that now, boom, it opens up my file uploader. In this case, I've got sample essay. I can go ahead and click on open. And that would basically have triggered off the on drop function. Okay, so you see how it's very simple to set this up. And what also works is if I open up my Finder right now, so in this case, I'm going to go to my Finder, I'm going to go to my downloads folder so you guys can see for yourself. And what I'm going to do is I have, like, for example, a PDF here. I'm going to drag it. And as you can see, look, as I drag it, you see how it says drop the files here? So you see how it's already working the way we kind of want it, right? So that's perfect. That means it's working exactly as we intended for it to be. So what I want to do with that is I want to basically go ahead and style it accordingly, okay? So we've got a couple of things here: get root props, get input, get is drag active. And we can use that when we're styling it. But there's a couple of others that I actually want to have. And there's one of them is focus, right? So is focus. I want to take that as well from React-Dropzone. So I'm just going to make this full screen so you guys can see this. Dial in this point and help each other out, because I guarantee this way it can get a little bit tricky, but it's very, very simple if you just follow what I'm doing right now, okay? We're going to do a class name, and here I'm going to put curly brackets and backticks, not normal quotes, backticks. This allows me to do something called string interpolation, which means I can use variables when I define my styles, okay? So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to start styling some. Say padding is 10. You see, already giving it a bit of a spacing and stuff like that. The border, let's give it an indigo 600. I'm going to give the text indigo 600 as well. And immediately I'll keep saving it so you guys can see for yourself what's going on. Now we set a border, but we didn't actually give it a size. So I'm going to say border should be 2. If I do that, you can see that border should be dashed as well. So dashed like so. And then I'm also going to go ahead and say margin top of 10 to space it away. I'm going to say the width should be a 90% of the screen, right? So 90% of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and do the, let's do, I actually need to wrap it inside of an entire div. So right now, this div is all here. So I'm going to actually surround the entire thing inside of another div like so. And I'm going to add the class name here. I'm going to say flex column, gap of 4. And this is because I'm going to actually have a cool little loading indicator on the day 2. So we're going to do that one afterwards later on tomorrow. Max width 7XL, MX auto. Now this will center out the element. Okay. And that's because afterwards we're actually going to have a loading thing here tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll implement this, a loading section. But down here for now, this is already getting a bit better. Now, when I drag over it, I want to basically change the style a little bit. So I basically want to apply a bit of styling accordingly. There's a few other things I want to do, like round the corners off and stuff like that. It looks ugly right now. I'm going to say rounded, large corners. So rounded, large, let's do that. Immediately looking kind of nice, right? I can actually set the height as well to 96. So height 96, and already that's pretty cool, but it just needs one more thing. I need to say flex items center, and just like that, if I just finish off with text center as well, boom, we should have it lined up. Actually, I think the reason why that is because my actual div here isn't getting centered out. So what we need to do is actually, if I go to the text itself, so this text is drag active, pop a div around this. And I'm simply going to go ahead and say class name, flex column, justify center, item center, and that will center out my text. Okay, interesting. What, my styling is very weird today, honestly. If I do text center, interesting. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and set that out afterwards. We'll do that one afterwards because right now, interesting. Where's my text center? Do I even have a text center here? I'm sure I do. Yeah, text center. No, I don't. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it's fine. I'll figure that one out. That's so annoying sometimes when I'm trying to figure this out, especially on live stream. I'm like, what's that? Okay. Anyway, I'll figure that one out. So in this case, we've got the drag and drop. We've got the input file. Oh my God. Wait a second. Flex. You should just put justify in your parent. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you're right. Oh my God. Yes. I forgot to put, wow, I forgot the main thing. I forgot justify. Yeah, I done item center. There you go. Thank you. There you go. Boom. I thought I did that because I put item center. Item center does the vertical. There you go. Thank you so much, because that would drive me crazy. Here you go. That's what I love. That's how I know everyone's tuned in. If I go to my downloads right now, look at this, guys. As I drag over it, boom. Okay. So what we can do now, is I can even go, I can take it a step further. What I want to do is I want to basically make it so it changes style when I'm hovering over it or if I'm focused on it. So what we do is we put a string into it, but we put a little JSX element by saying $, curly brackets. And here I can say if I'm focused or the drag is accepted, okay? So we can actually import this one from the hooks as well, is drag accept, right? And I can go down here. So if any of these two are true, so if this or this is true, we can have something called a ternary. Now this means if that or that is true, then give this. So border indigo. So I'm gonna say background indigo 300, or if it's not true, background indigo 100. So that means it's 100 when it's not true. And then if I drag into it, so I'm grabbing a file right now and I'm dragging into it, you see how it's true? It goes background 300. So that's how we essentially do that, okay? So little final bit of touch on that point is I'm gonna go ahead and import 2 icons right now. So I'm gonna import a bunch because we're gonna use them tomorrow anyway. So let's go ahead and do this. Div center memes are real. Yeah, it's so jokes, honestly. Centering a div, so even when I'm live, it happens, yo. So in this case, center, circle, arrow, hammer, rocket, and save. We're going to be using them later, so don't worry. Let's go down here to drop the files here. Now, you can't put, whenever you have a direct return like this, you can't put 2 elements next to each other. React doesn't like it. So what you can do is you can either put in a div or you can surround it in something called a React fragment. So React fragment, very easy way of thinking about it is you just pop it in like that. And that will allow you now to have, for example, a rocket icon. So if I went and did this, basically now, if I drag in over it, it will show a rocket and it will animate and it'll say ping. And that's just a nice little thing. And I want to have the opposite here. So I'm going to do a React fragment. I'm going to have 2 children here and I'm going to say circle arrow. There you go. Right. And right now it's not centered. And this is what I was trying to do before. Now, if you hear, you say flex item center, justify center, boom. And that will go ahead and center it. Oh no, sorry. Flex column. I want it to be, there you go. That's better. Right. There you go. Really nice. Now it's got a very nice UI element. If I drag a file into it, look, drop your files here, boom, and we drop it. Now that's awesome, right? Looking very, very nice. Now when I drop the file, remember we trigger off this onDrop function. Now the onDrop function has the accepted files passed through it as a prop. So all we need to do now to get this working is basically go ahead and code up what we needed. So all I ask that you do here for the homework section is I just want you to go ahead and actually, you can just console log the accepted files, right? So in this case, so that way we can test it out, because tomorrow we'll do the upload functionality. But now, for example, if I was to go ahead and go into this and I was to drag and drop a file in here, what you can see is the file is there, okay? And this is how we're going to test your homework for day 1. Very, very simple, straightforward. I can go ahead and check the console logs from your deployment. And as you can see here, it will just go ahead and pop out. And you should just be checking this yourself as well. So this is the point that we want to go ahead and get to at this point, right? So in this case, for day 1, we have, like I mentioned before, we have the beautiful landing page, absolutely incredible landing page. Click on Get Started. We have our Clerk authentication and middleware, which we've already set up, which protects our dashboard routes. We created a functional dashboard with the header component, Shadcn, tail, and CSS. We click on Add a Document, or we click on this portion here to go ahead and actually take us to our upload page. And then we implemented React-Dropzone, which allows the drag and drop functionality as well as the file picker, which means that all we need to do now is deploy our day 1 homework. So firstly, damn awesome. I think we're absolutely crushing it today for time-wise. So we're going to go ahead and deploy this, and we're going to deploy it to Vercel, right? So in order to deploy this, very, very easy right now. Let's go ahead and do this right now. So Aldo, it goes amazing, awesome stuff. I love you guys and appreciate you all. We're going to go ahead and head over to Vercel. Now, what I want you to do is type in Vercel CLI in Google and go ahead. It's a good trick. Yeah, I know. It's really awesome, right? Go to the Vercel CLI and click onto it. And we're basically going to install the Vercel CLI onto our machine. Now you might have to run this as a sudo command, so sudo npm i-g Vercel. -g means it's not per project, it's installed on our machine totally. Right, so this is a really easy way of doing deployment. So for example, I'll show you right now if we do this. So if I go ahead and do npm i-g Vercel, this will install Vercel's tools onto my computer. So I can actually type in Vercel as a command. Now I want to just mention Vercel is actually the creators of Next.js. Vercel basically have an awesome entire ecosystem for basically how we can take our Next.js apps and basically put them on the web super easily. Right, so in this case, I just updated my Vercel, so it's probably good I did that. And now what you can do is you can type in Vercel login. I've already logged in, so I'm not going to do that. All you have to do to deploy this, oh, this is a tune, Jay. All you got to do is type in Vercel deploy. Oh no, you don't even need Vercel deploy. Just type in Vercel. Right, this will actually fail, but I'll show you how we can overcome it. So set up and deploy. You say yes. It will check that I'm logged in. I'm already logged in. I have a few teams here. So in this case, I'm just going to do my default team. So Sunny Sanga. And again, this is totally free. So do not worry. Here I click on Sunny Sanga. And now if I go and say link to existing project, no, I want to create a new project, give it a name, in this case, chat with PDF challenge, in which directory the default will do, setting up the project. And as you can see, it uploads the code and it starts to do things that we want. Modify, don't modify anything. All of the default is working. You can also go ahead and set up Vercel with the GitHub pushes. I can recommend that you definitely do that one as well. You can do that. That's really cool. That means every time you push your code, it will go ahead and deploy. Feel free to do that. Honestly, it's up to you. I'm showing you how to do it via the CLI. And now you can see this. When you get this inspect, I want you to click through on this. And this is the interesting part. So once you're through here, I'm firstly just going to go ahead and open this one up on my my personal tab. So my profile loads. So in this case, we can see here. Now I've got my, and in case you're wondering, this is the Arc browser. It's very cool. You can check it out yourself. But you can see this deployment. Now this deployment will fail because I do not have someone saying I deploy with GitHub. Yeah, you guys, trust me, deploy with GitHub if you want to. Completely cool. I'm just showing you the Vercel CLI because the GitHub is pretty self-explanatory once you go on the website. But I want to show you through the CLI how you can do it as well. But here, if you click on this part, go to settings, go to environment variables and go down to keys. And this is where you're actually going to get the Clerk keys that we spoke about earlier. Remember, we set them up earlier inside of our app, inside of our env.local file. So I'm going to hide my screen. You thought I was going to slip, didn't you? So in this case, you go ahead and take your environment variables. I've just replaced it with a dummy key now. Copy that and go back here and paste it. Okay. So do that step right there. So do that step. Now I'm just going to go ahead and basically actually put the row secret key in. And then once you've done that, put the row secret key, hit save. Okay. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm basically getting my row keys right now, going back over. I'm copying my actual secret key. So fairly straightforward, exactly what I just told you to do on the other side, and click on save. And I'm hiding my screen a bit. There you go. Boom. I clicked on save and you'll see it says added environment variables successfully. Okay. So down here. And that's perfect. You can see down here, I got my Clerk secret key and next public. Next public means that on client components, you can view that environment variable. Clerk secret key is automatically undefined on client components to protect them from being leaked. Okay, so this is really cool, right? This is really nice. It works perfectly. Now the deployment, this one will fail because it has basically not got the environment variables. And if we click into it, you'll see for yourself. There's also a missing key prop. Oh my God, I made a stupid mistake there. So we're going to go ahead and firstly get this up and running. So firstly, a couple of errors. This is good, right? I want to show you how you can go ahead and fix this yourself. If you want to go ahead and just test out the build and get everything fixed out yourself, you can type in npm run build. This is essentially what Vercel is doing, right? So this will build a production build, and this will also spot out all of the errors that you might have inside of your code. You can also go ahead and click problems. Usually it's in problems, but okay, in that case, it doesn't matter. It'll show us here, this will bug out now, and it'll show us the errors in which we experienced earlier. So look, the same errors that you can see that were over here, we're seeing the same thing here, right? So firstly, whenever you're mapping through, don't do what I did, and you should always have a key, right? So in this case, we've got the inside of our page component. I'm going to use the feature name as a key. So whenever you map, you want to do feature.name in this case, and it has to be a unique value. In this case, our feature name we know is unique, so that's fine, we can do that. So that was the first thing, so I'm just going to go back here. And the second thing was file uploader. You've got this, you can click on these lines to take you to the exact thing. In this case, you can escape these characters. I'm quite lazy right now, I'm just going to go ahead and remove them. And then we've got this one as well, that's completely fine. So hit save on the file and do an npm run build just to test it on your side pretty easily. But it would have actually deployed, but it would have failed with the authentication step because your keys wouldn't have been ready, right? So in this case, you can see it would go through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to type in Vercel. So I'm going to send it over to Vercel again. So it's all doing its thing. I can actually go ahead and update it myself if I need to. And let's go ahead and click on inspect. So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm going to open it up as well. And you can see all the build logs, everything's kicking off. It actually is deploying this over onto the right page. And while this is doing that, guys, I'm going to run through today's homework, right? So if you head over to today's viewing room, which is the link is in the description, you'll see all of the details for today's part of the challenge. So essentially what we did today, we built the beautiful landing page, the Clerk authentication middleware, the dashboard, and we deployed the build to Vercel. Then if you go down here, you'll see you just pop in your full name, your email, and the deployed SaaS app build link. And you tell me if you implemented Clerk, if you had problems, or you took it a step further and got those bonus points that we spoke about by implementing Clerk elements, okay? So in this case, I would say I implemented Clerk, I would pop in all this and I need the link. So let's go back over to our deployment right now and let's check in on it, right? So in this case, it's building out the pages, perfect. This is great. And then in a second, we will actually have our deployment. Now, this actually won't deploy to, this deploys to a preview environment, okay? So there's two ways that you can get the real deployment link. Don't give me the preview because you have to log in to see that one. You can either do option one, you can do Vercel --prod, and this will deploy it to a public URL that I can access, right? So we can review your homework in this case, or you can click on promote to production here as well. So in this case, I've just triggered it over there, but in this case, or you could click on promote to production. So if I do this, and you can see it will be aliased to the following domain. So I can go ahead and copy that one, promote to production, give that a second. And now you can see another build's in progress. That's because I redeployed it. So I shouldn't have done that. It's all right for now. To be fair, we can just go ahead and cancel that one. And we can let the one that I've triggered on the CLI be the main. Okay. So this will go ahead and build it out. And this will only take a second. It will do its thing. I'm just checking out the comments as we go ahead and wrap up on today's build. Someone goes, where would the recording be shared? Everything is back on the YouTube channel. So literally everything that I've taught you today is going ahead and getting shown again on the YouTube channel. The viewing room is awesome as well. So you can go ahead and check for yourself. The viewing room will have all the links that you're looking for today, including the homework submission. And of course, if you get stuck at any point, you can check out the community itself, right? So community, absolutely awesome. Everything is inside the classroom. So inside the classroom, literally you've got the SaaS module. And obviously if you get stuck at any point, you can go ahead and literally chat away. And let some people's already got questions, so go help them out, right? And get those bonus points. Let's go back to the deployment to check in on it and see how things are going. So in this case, it's uploading, it's giving the custom domains, and there you go, guys. That's the one that you want to share. See, production current. And as you can see now, it doesn't ask me to authenticate. If it says Vercel authenticate, that means it's not going to work. So in this case, if I was to go ahead and share this, I'm going to throw that right now in the chat there. What are the benefits of installing Clerk elements? Firstly, it's bonus points. But the reason why I'm introducing Clerk elements or explaining it, you can customize the entire sign up flow. So really, in a lot of production builds, you might want to customize it or not have branding, that kind of thing. Clerk Elements allows you to do that at a really bespoke level, okay? So in this case right now, you can check this out. Somebody goes, I need a link of that screenshot image. So I've just gone ahead and deployed it. So you can grab it from there, but also if you really need that link, you can grab it as well from here, guys. It's HTTPS. I'm actually going to pop it in the chat as well for you guys to help you out. So there you go. You can use that link if you want, okay? So at this point now, you can just go ahead and check this out. This is the deployed URL. You want to go ahead and take that URL and you're going to submit that for homework. So obviously I will find your URL in our submissions. I will go here, I will log into the application myself, and I will test it out to see if you've done all of day one homework for yourself, right? So if you got to this point, I will check the responsiveness. I will make sure if I drag and drop here, it goes ahead and shows me a console log. So if I was to go here, console right now, and I drag and drop, right now I can see the file, boom, homework done for the day. That's your day one homework. Very, very simple. To go ahead and submit it, I simply copy this URL, and you can do it a few ways. I'm just going to copy the URL from this URL, and you can basically just copy without the dashboard. So I just need the URL, head over to the viewing room like I told you about, and simply pop in all your details and simply go here and paste it in and submit. Okay, really, really easy to go ahead and get done with. Okay, so we literally went ahead and crushed all of this in today's video. Absolutely awesome stuff. Jay sent me the screenshot. Yeah, that's fine. We've already got that. Right, the link is so cool as a model to code against. You're absolutely welcome. So you guys can feel free to use that link to go ahead and actually sort of like view the app against, see the responsiveness, all that behavior, and also all of that good stuff. Now, for day 3, so what's happening tomorrow? Well, firstly, you guys have absolutely crushed it today. So, well, like, thank you for the sticking with me. It's been absolutely amazing, the energy today. And honestly, we've literally capped out. I think it was 3,200 people were in today's live stream. Absolutely nuts. Huge, huge stuff. Thank you so much for today. Honestly, best of luck for the homework submissions. Tomorrow, we're going to be setting up Firebase storage and Firestore. So when you drag and drop, it uploads the file. We're also going to be implementing the PDF rendering portion of the build. So in fact, rather than telling you, I'm going to show you the actual build that we're going to build tomorrow. So I'm going to run our application and actually get it up and running, because that's always funner than explaining it and just like talking to no one. So in this case, 3001, let's go here, get started. I might have to log me in again. Let's have a look if I have to log in. Yeah, so in this case, tomorrow we're going to have it. So when you upload a document, it actually uploads the document. So in this case, if I go to my Finder, I'm just going to grab, for example, a document. So we're going to build this functionality tomorrow where it uploads, it saves, it generates AI embeddings inside a Pinecone. And this part is going to be really cool. I'm telling you, this is where really powerful stuff happens. We're going to build all of this. So this entire rendering where you can go ahead and zoom into your PDFs, flip the PDFs around, all this stuff is completely responsive. So you've got literally the editors and everything like that. So you can go ahead and use this on a phone. We're also going to include the chat functionality. So you can go ahead and even chat to your documents. All this stuff happening tomorrow. You can say, what is this doc about? Right, and you can basically chat away with your documents. All the AI functionality, including LangChain, Pinecone, OpenAI's integration, is happening tomorrow. And we are using Daisy UI to go ahead and include these lovely little designs and everything like that as well. Right, so this is what you've got excited for. This is what you can get excited for tomorrow. Right, somebody goes, given we're using Firebase in the build, what are the advantages Clerk over Firebase Source? Firstly, the simplification. It's so fast and easy to get set up. Secondly, all the different authentication methods that Clerk provides, 2FA, the passwords, the magic links, all that kind of stuff. Very, very easy to set up. Again, as well, if you do Firebase authentication, you have to implement all of the authentication methods yourself. I'm not saying it's really difficult, but Clerk was literally like 5 minutes to set up. And all I would say is, in my experience, whether it's been production, whether it's been hobby apps that I built, whether it's been SaaS apps we produced, it's just one of those things that offload authentication to someone who does it well and amazingly, like Clerk authentication, and focus on the app. Don't like, no one is going to cheer in your corner if you custom built your authentication. They're going to be like, the only thing they will do is scream at you if it doesn't work right. So what I would say is use someone who does it right. Clerk authentication for the win. Simply head over to go.clerk.com/Sunny to sign up if you haven't already, and simply click on start building for free dashboard and get it set up and deploy your homework. Okay, so do not worry, all the stuff is up on this channel right now. I'm going to wrap it up the only way we know how to wrap it up, with the Papa Fam anthem. It's been absolutely awesome, guys. You guys have smashed it. Tomorrow, setting up the, let me go ahead and put this up one more time so I can show you guys. But absolutely banger of a session today. We're going to go ahead and set up Firebase storage and Firestore. So that way, when you go to your My Documents, you actually see the documents here as well. So we're going to have all of that set up for you tomorrow. We're going to implement the PDF rendering. So when you click into this, it'll render out the PDF. Implement the chat functionality with Pinecone, LangChain, and OpenAI. We're also going to implement the My Documents, which I just showed you. And we're going to deploy that to Vercel. Now, trust me, you're going to need coffee tomorrow. That's what I'm going to say. Bring your coffee, bring your A game. Get the homework done today. Trust me, like, this is more of a warm-up to tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session, we've got some serious coding, right? Like, I'm talking like some cool LangChain level tech. So it's going to get a lot of fun. And every day what I'm trying to do is keep it within the 1 hour to 2 hour mark. So that way you don't get overwhelmed. You can watch the videos in your own time and keep up with the things that we're doing and every single day. And as always, guys, make sure you sign up to the challenge over at www.poppareact.com/challenge. You guys are absolutely incredible. The community, unreal. And honestly, like I said, 3,200 people, I believe it was, capped in today. Huge, absolutely huge. After that day, we're going to build the payments, the webhooks. So by day 5, as I mentioned before, you're going to get everything for absolutely free anyway, delivered to you. But if you want a chance to win all of those prizes, then you just got to simply be a part of this challenge with all the points and everything that we've spoken about before. As always, guys, it's your boy Poppa React, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace. Right, and check this out. I just want to go through one more thing right here. Make sure, I kind of skipped over one thing, make sure you're part of this, just period. Right, I'm going to refresh the page right now. Make sure you are a flourishing part of this community. If you get stuck at any point today with any of the homework, please just go there and ask for help. Like, honestly, I tell all of our students, just please just ask for help. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no shame. Like, the whole community is there to help you out. Watch this video. If you get kind of like overwhelmed or something, say to someone, I want to jump on a Zoom call with someone and code together, pair program together. That is what the dev community should be. But it's not, unfortunately, that accessible, which is why we have our community right now to fix all of these problems. And that is why I'm bringing it to you inside this challenge. So make sure you go over to the universityofcode.com, sign up as part of the challenge. It's all there. You guys are going to crush this. I already know it. Everyone's going to absolutely win in this challenge and absolutely win as a developer for following along. So guys, love and appreciate all of you guys. I'm wrapping up for today, and I will see you in day 3 of the 5-day AI SaaS challenge. Peace. Wrap up that way. Tomorrow. Ciao.